So we are waiting for Prime now. So hopefully we'll be starting here shortly. But I'm waiting to switch my screen to the panel screen because there's nothing on the panel screen currently. So I'm just waiting for that to happen, I suppose. So we'll have to hang on tight.
We are dead silent.
Okay. Well, talk about anything. Sorry, my mind is a bit distracted today.
I cannot imagine why.
I don't know
Okay.
what.
I have a Thomas the Tank Engine meme for this.
You do?
I do. I posted it on
I've seen
Twitter.
enough of this
We're
bullshit.
getting ready to go live, people. Getting ready to go live.
Noise.
Super exciting.
What the hell do I need to copy?
You know, Chud Logic, I've never seen you, but this is about what I expected. You know, this is like the right type of VTuber personality for you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd show off my new place, my new socialist mansion.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Is like London pretty expensive?
Which one?
London.
One day I want to
like
see under the mask.
England.
Well, this mansion in particular is in California. It's in West Hollywood.
Yeah,
I think he has a new roommate.
Me and Hassan have gone halves, so I thought he could do with an actual Marxist to teach him about it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Rudy,
it's about as good as it's gonna get.
For the 1,500 bits. That's awfully kind of you. Thank you. And hey, I gotta pause things for just a second, just a quick second, because we stepped into my chat. It's nothing. There's no person other than my good friend Joe. Joe the Solicitors. I love her so much. She's an amazing human being. Hey, everyone, check out her channel. Exclamation Joe in chat. She has
welcome.
channel,
It's time for the Prime
and a YouTube channel where
Reverie.
she has this video that's like blew up the internet. It was amazing. It was on philosophy, and she did so well. Love her so much. Hey Joe, thanks for being around. All right, back to it. Okay, thanks all for being around. This is the Roundtable, which we have Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. All right, we're going to start by introducing Alice. Hello, Alice. Thanks for being Sun
Yes.
God.
Oh no.
Mm.
Wait, hold on. Come on. The not Americans here have got to know what this is from.
This is
Yeah?
like a Monty Python,
Is
right?
that
Or
Monty
something?
Python?
Yep.
It's Monty Python. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I put this on at work, and everyone was like, "Who that? What? Why? What is that from?" I just wanted to see if if fake socialists on the internet know more about this. So, thanks Prime for having me on. And there's absolutely been nothing unusual about this appearance, right? This is a totally normal week, totally normal appearance. Great to be here again. This is an unusual panel for me to be on, so looking forward to it.
I'm just so happy to have you anytime, right? You're a lot of fun, and you're good to. when I step in, it's always good to battle against you. It's always entertaining time. So thanks for being around. Next, we have a special guest, a guest who doesn't come here too often because they're very busy and they're living in an inconvenient time zone. But that is Chud Logic. Chud Logic is back with us again. How are you doing, friend?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Good to be here, live from my LA mansion. I looking forward to making some good points about how buying a $3 million mansion is actually praxis. I'm sure we'll get into that. And yeah, come and check out my channel, Chud Logic, all one word on Twitch. And yeah, we can have some fun and have some memes. And I hope you're doing well, Prime.
I am. With people like you around, I am. Thanks so much. All right. Next, we got a goddamn VIP. We call him counterpoints. Connor is back with us. Longest streaking guest. I'm not sure that's the best way to put it. I know it's kind of weird, but still, I like my introductions to be vaguely sexual. So Connor, thank you for coming through. Thank you for being so handsome. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing today? Great, 100%. That's just beautiful. Wow, just love that those words.
I was being polite because I was typing, and now I just fucked it all up. But it's okay. What I was gonna say, no, I'm super happy to be here. Obviously, the joke that we've had for like the past, like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, I guess, is that like we were gonna go together until I became so canceled that you basically ditched me or whatever. So I am here for you, buddy. I am fucking here for you. In the midst of the storm, we are. I know that it's clearing. The sunshine is coming out. The clouds are going away at this point. I'm very happy to see some forward progress. And again, ecstatic to be here. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for everything. That means a lot. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, all right. Next, we have Captain A. And you know what? No, stop it. I just wanted to say that Counterpoints actually did reach out from when I was having trouble. He was like almost immediately. He reached out with his support, and that meant much a lot. So thank you, Counterpoints. Just, that vote of confidence meant a lot. Next, we have Captain A. Jones, a tier 3 sub. He bribed his way into this place. Captain A. Jones, thank you for being here. You said this is the first time you're doing a reverie, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've done anything non-Royale related.
Okay, yeah. Well, tell them about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Thank yeah. So I'm Captain A. Jones. I'm not a captain, not an A, not a Jones. Been watching Prime Kais for a long time. And, you should follow me on Twitch or on Twitter. That's where I do stuff, usually involving a lot of marijuana. But I like to talk politics and I like to do other things like play games. So, and I'm just really happy to be here because I think this will be a lot more chill rather than screaming at CTV for something because I'm trying to get people to vote for me,
Well, CTV here, who is next? I'm sure we'll give you plenty of other reasons to be upset with them. CTV, thank you for coming through. Thank you for stopping by. Much appreciate you coming at this auspicious time. How are you doing today?
Wait, what do you mean auspicious time? Has there been something going on?
I'd have to Google that shit. I don't know.
Nah, I just kind of threw that out there, but yeah, I guess it's just a regular Monday. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I figured you probably missed it, but there's a link in the chat for you. There's the there's my take on it for you, right? Anyway, besides that, I'm happy to be here to be a part of the conversation. Yeah, we saw how well that worked for you last time, Captain A. Jones. You not winning, so the yelling obviously doesn't work. So figure out a different tactic, buddy.
That was one vote. One vote.
Just one vote. Oh,
Hey,
just one
look,
vote.
it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
not hand grenades, you know.
Well,
Am
there
I
you
the
go.
only millennial that gets this reference?
I think everybody gets the reference.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Brent, too, for the 100 bits. And next we have Biggs. Biggs is back with us. How you doing today, Biggs?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here tonight and excited to have this conversation. Like Prime said, my name is Biggs. I stream on Twitch at Biggs8500. Check out my channel. I do panels, video gaming, things like that. But I just want to say thank you again, Prime. Thank you for all the panelists here. I'm pretty excited.
Thank you. Next, someone new who haven't had here before, Dan the Step. But who is anyone who's watched our open panels knows Dan. Dan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, finally, all these open panels paid off. I'm really glad to be here for the first time and meet with everyone here. I'm really excited. I'm Dan the Step. I am not a streamer. I show up a lot to the Prime open panels and I give out my takes. I am academically a historian, but I don't. But I don't. I at least tell people where I'm like expert, but I'll give you my good base layman takes, whatever I can, and I hope to have fun here, guys.
Thank you, thank you. Last but not least, we have a mod here in this community and an overall great individual. I'm happy to have him around. It's rare that I can get him. I try often. It's rare that I can get him. His name is Socrates. You can see like he's doing his Zen rearranging of the of the visuals here. But Socrates, thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming back and being a part of all of this. And thank you for resubbing for 7 months in a row, 11 months altogether. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I'm really happy to be here. Happy to see you. Happy to see all you guys. Happy to rep best anime in the world, Evangelion. Saw the new one. Wasn't wasn't great, but it did the job. Closed out the series forever because he never wants to make another one.
Okay. Oh, all right. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, everyone. I am a massive Neon Genesis Evangelion fan. Like massive. I followed it for many years. I've rewatched the series many times. I don't do that. That's like not a thing that I do. I've rewatched the series many times. I've dug into the lore that's outside the series, right? Into there's like a weird Japanese video game that like has half the lore there, which is really fucking weird, really bad. That's terrible. But anyway, I've dug into all of that. I've watched the movies, right? Like the Pass movie that was out before. Then they've had like 4 new movies that took a span of 15 years, I think, to finally all come out. Oh my god! And the last one has just finally come out, and I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but like I'm so excited. But apparently, well, that's being blunted by what Socrates is saying. But we'll see.
It's
we'll
just
see,
to
we'll
lower
see.
your expectations so you can enjoy it even more.
We'll see if I can
Next
get
step to fully understand
pass
it,
me
you
the
gotta read the
joy.
Kabbalah.
Yeah, you gotta read the Kabbalah. Like that's not actually actually serious about that. It's like Jewish mysticism involved here, but okay. Thanks for that. All right, so let's get started. I actually wasn't sure if you guys noticed. I didn't number the topics because I wasn't sure which one to start with. So, which one do you want to start with? QAnon or Hassan?
Well, Chud Logic is already fucking triggering me with the fucking memes, so I would love to start with Hassan.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do Hassan.
Okay, yeah, we can start with the serious one and then go to the fluff one after. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hassan is too serious for you.
Okay,
Socrates?
he's messing with you. All right, so let's do it. Hassan recently bought a $3 million house. The left has been up in arms around so over this because he advocates for socialism. Is this contradictory? Should self-ascribed socialists make extravagant purchases like this? Is Hassan just a performative socialist? Or is it ridiculous to ask a socialist to refrain from extravagance? All right, yeah, a house, bought, mansions. Someone is enjoying them, not me. But you can help with that. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah,
Of course.
and people are wondering, like, is this a bad look? So we're digging into this. All right, start with Alec, which is who is. Are you in the same hotel that is this the Shining Hotel? Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
that's what this is. Yes. I figured, might as well just change it up on you a little bit. You know. So yeah, Hassan. So this has been like a weird like Twitter shitstorm and I guess probably a Twitch shitstorm and whatever. Is this like performative socialism or like is Hassan a performative socialist? Hassan is an internet personality. Hassan is not a actionable socialist. Buying a $3 million mansion is not really the kind of thing that a socialist does. I will say that we live in a society. We live in a society, and Hassan buying a $3 million mansion. Arguably the answer is, well, I mean, but he made money, and I mean, he bought it. And, well, fine, that's probably true. And I mean, I guess the alternative is giving away all
Probably
his
true.
money or something. But it definitely is a little weird to go on the internet and talk about how much how good socialism is, and then buy a really big expensive mansion. You could probably buy a regular house, instead of a mansion, maybe, like just a suggestion. I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this, and she kind of brought a good point up for me that I guess was a little interesting. Of like, I mean, he has the money, so why should he not use it? But if you're arguing, from the perspective of not wanting, an amass of money in individual people, then you amassing $3 million and buying a mansion is not really the best praxis. So Weird Champ is my summary of Hassan.
Weird Champ. I like that take.
Thank you. Next, Chud Logic.
Okay, Karl Marx once said, referred to ruthless criticism. So, ruthless criticism of all that exists. Ruthless both in the sense of not being afraid of the results it arrives at, and in the sense of being just as little afraid of conflict with the powers that be. Sad, really, that lefties today seem to have forgotten that message and have been falling over themselves to either play defense for this ownership of this mansion because they themselves are like sitting at the top of the pile of gold, or perhaps a degree of temporarily imbalanced millionaire homeowners who thinks that maybe they're going to one day be in that position. Now, in terms of like the hypocrisy, I don't really care whether Hassan individually is a hypocrite. I think that everyone's a hypocrite in a capitalist society. There are, of course, levels to that. We'll probably get into that. For me, there's a structural issue here as a Marxist, and that is the fact that it seems like all of these creators who have extremely radical politics and talk about, streets running red with the blood of landlords in Minecraft, eventually get to a point where they're subsumed and recuperated by capital, and then they start to just push, at best, social democracy, taxation for the rich, and at worst, kind of fairly bland liberalism. So, I find that to be disappointing. The final point I'd make on this, the pattern and the way that I describe this, is people tend to go from talking about eating the rich to taxing the rich to taxing me, and that's it.
Thank you. Counterpoints.
Yeah, no, these are takes that I appreciate so far. I understand that, like, from a theoretical perspective, like, socialism is not when you own a house. I get that. I also understand that in a market socialism in particular, there's not necessarily any kind of prohibitions against like luxury. As a matter of fact, I think plenty of leftists arc to try to achieve luxury, gay space communism for everybody. So, like, there's nothing inherently hypocritical in owning a really nice house. I think, and seeing that like being memed about is like, oh, you can't own nice things as a socialist. No, that's not really my criticism. My criticism is that there's a lot to do. And it doesn't seem like our government is interested in doing those things, which means that ultimately it's up to everyday people to decide whether or not they want to contribute to positive change in the world. When you have the ability to buy a $3 million house, that also means that you have the ability to buy a $1 million house and maybe a $2 million house and maybe do a $500,000 donation to a cause that you care about, or alternatively, use it in order to create a self-perpetuating economic machine that actually advances your values. Whether that's a worker cooperative, reclaiming spaces for the homeless, contributing to a charity or something like that. That way you're not accused of hypocrisy, I think would all be good things. And what's kind of frustrating with this whole thing is that Hassan and his stands, their rebuttal to any criticism has been, oh, socialism is, you know, when what is it? It's like, yeah, socialism is when you own a house or some shit like that. And I think Hassan said, I want everybody, most people can suck my dick or some shit like that. That was his response to the criticism, when realistically you could have solved this shit with literally like a 200K donation, 500K donation, and called it a day. But fuck it, we'll get into it in the open.
Captain A. Jones.
Yeah, I actually tend to agree with Connor points. Like, if you're going to be rich, I'm not rich, but if I had the money, I would love to give to charity. That sounds like a great thing to do. But generally, like, my takes on this is like, so I'm not, I don't personally give a shit that he bought a house. Who really cares? But if you're gonna like sit there and act like you're this socialist who cares so much, then yeah, exactly. Give a $200,000 donation and just be done with it. It's so easy if you have the money. You just bought a $2.7 million house, drop another 100 or 200,000. Like, it seems so obvious. However, there's a point. There is a point where, like, I actually think that government regulation and action is far more effective, if not the only effective thing, when it comes to things that we deal with, like climate change. I'm thinking of as the example, like our individual actions. For instance, I recycle and I do all that stuff. You know, it makes me feel better, but in the end, I'm 1 out of 7 billion people. My impact is beyond negligible. It means so little. And I want to keep that in mind, that it's basically the same thing with him too. Like, he's just one person, you know. Yes, he should give money with all the money he has. Anyway, I'll leave the rest for the panel.
CTV.
Well, as far as the whole, I know it's the dramatic pause.
You're
right?
dedicated to the dramatic pause.
Yeah, it gets me every time. It gets me every time. But okay, all right.
So, I think it's obvious. It's so obvious at this point that there's someone that's not living what it is they've been preaching, right? I mean, there's this, I mean, it's almost like there's this masked person, right, that we all see in the room, you know, with this luxurious piece of real estate behind them, you know, like,
Wait, are you talking about my Peloton?
they are, you know, they're saying they're for socialism, but their actions speak of capitalism, and it creates this hypocrisy from idea and action. So no doubt this conversation is fucking useless to anybody that really wants to, like, you know, have a, you know, a rational conversation, because it's all right in front of you to see. You're just choosing not to see it, right? The only way we can have this, motherfucker, is with memes, right? So bring your fucking A game, right? Because it's about to go down.
Was that directed at me?
Do you have a guilty conscience all of a sudden? Did did anybody else feel that?
I was looking at everyone else's backgrounds, and I looked in Chud's background, and that's the one that I guess, like, I was looking at the most. But then I was like, wait a second, that's a cartoon, and it took me a second. Good try, Chud. But like, so I'm just wondering. I just want you to be pointed with it, because like,
wait,
talking about me? I'm not a socialist, so I mean, like, I don't think I'm
I guess
necessarily.
the question.
Okay.
I guess the question is were you actually listening? Because I said the masked man.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah,
God,
that's a
Captain
nice
A.
house.
Jones.
I do have a guilty conscience, son. You got me.
The drama here. Captain A. Jones is a big time stockbroker, right? So he's he's a little sensitive today. All right, Biggs.
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's freaking awesome that Hassan was able to buy a multi-million-dollar mansion in LA. Props to him for getting that kind of money. That's awesome. His hustle's great. The one thing that I think is kind of premonitions of Chud Logic, because I think that Chud Logic makes better content in his big toe than Hassan has in all of his content. So hopefully you're on your way to getting that mansion, buddy.
I don't endorse that. I don't endorse that. I think Hassan does great work. All right, great work. I like to talk to him about that work.
That's, I'm sure you do. But anyways,
Bring him on to answer for his
Yes.
crimes against socialism.
Look. I want to watch, like, was it 40 Day Fiance all day too?
Yeah,
Like,
right? Would that be
how is that
amazing,
not top
right?
tier? How could you have sought this man? This channel loves Hassan. Putting it out there. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, but as far as the hypocrisy goes, for one, I'm not surprised. We see this with most all of the bigger creators, not just on the socialist side, but on the right, like the Ben Shapiro's, the Louder with Crowders. I mean, they're all characters of themselves. They're all basically fake, right? They're all a grifter. I mean, we talk about grifters in like our sphere of like our small community of like Twitch politics, but these are like the ultimate grifters, right? And what ends up happening is these people get the money and then they begin to change. Like some of the previous panelists had mentioned, I think Chud mentioned about how like they go from taxing the rich, then taxing the billionaires, then to maybe we should just spread the taxes around kind of thing. They just slowly go down that line. Anyways, but what I think is the worst part about this whole situation is you have these socialists and lefties trying to go to bat for this guy when he's obviously a grifter, right? I mean, he may believe some of what he says, or may have believed it in the past, but I don't think he does anymore. His actions speak louder than words, like CTV said. One thing you'll know, if you really want to know how somebody is, follow their actions and follow their money, because that's where they put what they really care about in. And I think that if you really want to be a socialist and push these ideas and push these policies, one of the first things and most important things you can do is pick up the reins and lead by example, because otherwise you're just making yourselves look bad and you're making your party look bad and whatever your ideologies are, because you're just saying rules for me but not for thee. So that's my take.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I've agree pretty much with everyone here, King Connor and Critical and CTV, that a lot of this obviously seems a bit hypocritical to Hassan's part for his as he tries to explain his views of socialism while owning a $3 million house, which ironically for me, I don't really care much of it myself. I'm pro at least capitalist to an extent, and do own some property, and a lot of into that means like I definitely would think that I would feel much more at ease, or at least much of the leftist community, if Sasan just bought like a regular, like 1-story house for all what his needs are, instead of having a gigantic space and work on a lot of different projects within his community and charity. Which I don't think charity is usually the best option because it doesn't effectively affect systemic change. But if put forward, his like money where his mouth is, such as being humble and being in a position where he's at, like, which is spouting socialist talking points while living in a $3 million house. It's a difficult conundrum to really look at the moment.
Socrates.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start by complaining, usual bitching about being the last person to speak on the panel. Everyone says all the smart things. I just have to go, oh yeah, that was a good point. Oh yeah, fuck you, whoever, for calling me out. You guys did have pretty good things to say. I think Hassan is pretty much like a socialist lifestyle streamer, right? Like there's, what is it, like Vegan Gains or whatever, who's like vegan lifestyle, whatever, but like doesn't actually keep vegan. I feel like that's pretty much what Hassan is like. I guess it comes down to pretty much the utility of, right. So he has, I don't know, what is it, an average like fucking 35,000 people watching him. Like his numbers have grown huge. That's a huge number of people who are watching him kind of talk generally on the topic of some kind of socialist lefty things. So it's kind of like socialist lefty TV. It's kind of on that topic, but it's not like praxis per se. It's not doing things. It's just kind of in that topic. So really, like I think Biggs you mentioned as like one thing that could be great is his if he were to lead by example and say, hey, okay, so I've got some money together. Here's what I could do with this. Here's some way to build. I think Counterpoints said this as well. Like, could start some fucking grocery co-op, some small thing somewhere that could have people working in the co-op. Here's a project that I'm going to start. It'd probably be good for his numbers too. I mean, that would be pretty exciting. Whatever. That would probably bring some clout. But the fact is that's doesn't seem to be what he's about. It doesn't seem to be about like doing kind of socialist things. It's just that's kind of the topic and the kind of overall cultural framework of what he talks about. So it's kind of unsurprising. Maybe it's unfortunate. I think the one thing that I will critique is just this kind of idea of like humbleness of like, should live in like a smaller home and show how, whatever modesty is. I think that's kind of bullshit. That's kind of fake because, he's a multimillionaire, right? However he chooses to live, he has all that money, all that means for people supporting him and liking his entertainment. So I don't think he necessarily has to like virtue signal that he's modest, whatever. But I think it'd be cool when it's got that many people watching who care about socialism in theory to try to put that into practice.
Okay. All right. Open to the panel.
Yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead. No, you first. First.
All I wanted to do, and so you might want to make your point because all I wanted to do is actually ask, has Hassan said anything about like what he considers socialist praxis to be? Like, I haven't watched Hassan because I don't give a shit about him, so I don't know enough about his praxis. So, like, has he?
So you should be watching, honestly. But go ahead. Sorry.
I would like to respond to this. So the only thing worth watching Hassan on is basically his Coomer streams, where he watches women say that they would want to date Hassan, and then he just like looks into the camera, like, and that's like the only thing that for me, that's the only thing that I watch Hassan for, because it is cute. He's a fucking cute guy, okay? But I think his politics are dog shit, and I fucking hate him. I hate his politics, not him individually. But the just to bring this up, because oh my god, everybody fucking agrees that Hassan's a goddamn hypocrite. Now I have to bring up the counter argument. Socialism has fucking nothing to do with how much money you make. It literally doesn't. It's decommodification of the basic human needs, and it's the ownership of the means of production. So like basically like the reason why I got a little frustrated was because I was hearing like, oh well, he should live in like a 1,500 square foot 2-2 in the valley instead of a 4-3 in West Hollywood, and it's like that has nothing to do with fucking socialism. The whole reason why I brought up my criticisms of him is because there's actually like a lot of really simple things that could be done. So for instance, like one of the things that I brought up on Twitter in the past couple of days, because I'm a fucking asshole, is the fact that dead malls, regardless of whether or not you kept the building themselves, could be rebuilt as high density urban housing. They have large parking areas. They have like they have community open spaces. They already have air conditioning. They already have electricity. So even if you decided to rip down the dead J.C. Penney and build a new building with apartments on the corner of the mall, you're effectively revolutionizing the way Americans conceptualize daily life with a new idea. Now, I know this idea isn't everywhere, so it's like I'm criticizing Hassan, who might not even be aware of this idea, but people talk about high density housing. People talk about climate change. People talk about making investments in their communities and all that kind of shit. And here's a motherfucker who's making like, I don't know, 10 times our money, something like that. And he basically has the opportunity to still live in the $3 million house, still coom every single day and bang porn stars, but also actually help out his real political beliefs. And the fact that we have, last rant, because it's been in my brain for a really long time. The fact that we consistently have large leftist creators using terms like supererogatory, where it would be good if they did it, but they're not morally obligated to do.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure like high-end leftists literally Googled the term supererogatory so they wouldn't have to do shit about their actual espoused principles. So end of rant.
Yeah, this is actually true, and I think because the thing is, right, is like at the end of the day, if you're on a plane, right, you need to put your own oxygen mask on before you put someone else's on. You're no good to anyone if you're trying to organize and you don't have your basic material needs met, right? So I don't have a problem with people, working hard to get to where they need to be. But once you reach a certain level, like, I don't really care about the house so much. It's just there's the lack of anything else. And people will sometimes point and go, well, he's donated some money to charity. Okay. As a socialist, right. Charity isn't fucking socialist, okay? Charity is not a socialist thing. Charity it serves a function of neoliberalism, which is to offset responsibilities of the state onto individuals. Of course, if you can, give money to charity. I'm not against giving money to charity in principle, but as a socialist, you should look to do a bit more than just fucking give 10k to charity, right? You should look to build something, like sort of Counterpoint is talking about, right? Like this thing that he's talking about. You can build a project, you can build a tenants union, you can build a workers union. You've got a lot of clout and a lot of attention, right? And you can do all of this outside of the pre-existing systems. And this is another big problem that I've got. I know there's people on this panel that are fucking, yeah, DNC's great, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. There's plenty of ways to organize with the DNC. But if you want to really push society forward, you've got to start thinking outside of the terms of what's currently, available. So if you can push for things outside of the system that's going to move things forward, that's going to be a good thing. And at the end of the day, people like Hassan, they've got the clout and money to do that. But unfortunately, all of these lefties get on a big pile of gold like Smaug the Dragon and just go, oh, just tax me a bit more. Just tax me a bit more. And that's the end of it. And I'm fucking sick of it. And that's it.
It's actually worse than
Smaug
that.
one more time. Could you do that? Just Smaug one more time.
Smaug.
There you go.
Smaug.
So it's actually go ahead, Alice.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna ask what would be enough. Like, so for me, I agree with. We're all agreeing here. So we're saying Hassan is fucking performative socialist. Okay, fine. We're all on the same page there. But like, what would be enough? What could Hassan have done? Like, is he gonna spend his what could he have done with the $3 million? Well, he's gonna buy a house, right? So he's gonna spend $700,000, $1 million maybe on a house because that's how much it costs and where he lives. So he's not going to go live in the ghetto or whatever. He's going to buy a house. That's fine. So he's got $2 million. What's he going to do with that $2 million? That's more transformative. He's not going to give $2 million to charity because you're right, charity is not the answer. So what does he do with that $2 million?
So I think it's just important to note that obviously he's got a mortgage, right? So I just want to quickly say, very quickly, he's got a mortgage. So obviously we don't have like $3 million in a suitcase to fucking do, right? So, but the thing is,
we do.
Sure. Okay. Well, the thing is, I think it's just about like looking at ways that you can utilize that money, and it's not about necessarily is it enough, isn't it enough? It's about like I think looking at the results maybe in the future. Like some of this stuff could be over time that we see that he starts to do things, and if so, doff the cap and all that. But it's a bit troubling that like he's got the resources, and what is he doing? Is he setting up an org to push forward socialist ideas? No, he's buying a massive fucking house.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about putting some effort in somewhere.
Oh my God! All right, I'm gonna be a real dick. So fucking all right. So we were literally talking about this in the Discord. We were talking about criticizing Vosh and other leftists because he obviously went to bat for Philosophy Tube for basically making a shitload of money and not doing much with it, right? So he went to fucking bat for her, and then he's obviously doing okay. I think he said like after expenses he makes about 175k right a year, which is a decent chunk of change. He's only been doing it for 2 years. He's doing well, but he's not rich yet, right? So we were thinking about calling, basically calling him out and saying, why don't you take that money, create a cooperative, and on top of that, like I'm monetizing right now, we're thinking about making our monetization cooperative, meaning that the patrons who actually participate in the project get like actual material benefit back out of it. So we were just talking about all that kind of shit and how to call these people out. And then what shielded him from criticism was the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. Great job, raised $2.25 $300,000. But I want to point this out. That's still other people's money.
Yes.
Yes,
exactly.
The leftists still haven't done shit with their money yet. What the
Yes.
fuck?
That's exactly, you're exactly bang on the money. And sorry, the final thing, I know I keep talking, but yeah, as a social, like, the church, I'm not saying charity's bad. Charity can call, bring about a need to stuff, but it's not fucking socialist, to go, oh, hey fans, can you chuck a load of money to this charity, please? Like, it's bullshit. And I, as a principal, don't do charity streams because, I've got my position on it, without going into it. But yeah, people point to these charity streams and go, oh, well, I've done a charity stream. And it's like, yeah, but that's not quite what we would expect from a socialist, right? Like, I don't know. Anyway,
what I think's even
yeah,
what I think's even worse than all of this.
on that like a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I want
Let's
to hear
Biggs,
that
give
rant.
Biggs a
I want to hear
chance.
the worst than all of this rant.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's give
Yeah,
Biggs
so
a chance, and
what-
then let's go to Socrates.
All right, cool. So what's even worse is not only is it that they're not really doing anything, they're actually being counterproductive to their actual goals. You look at like what the Young Turks, his uncle or whatever. As soon as they wanted to try to unionize, they freaking shut down, like fired people, right? And you have these like socialist magazines like Current Affairs. Just this last week, they're being accused of firing people because they tried to start a co-op. They tried to like start a co-op within their business. So like these people that are espousing all these views are actually taking steps to actually squash their own ideals from happening. It's like they're being just I don't know how people can't see through this. Literal just it's right in front of you. You know what I mean?
CIA.
Hey, you're the one that has Fed
yeah,
ties,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
So Socrates, and then Dan.
Yeah, I mean those are interesting. I think so you're definitely not wrong that they're espousing these things and then they're shutting down any of those things actually happening in their orgs. I think there's another thing at play, which is so I know Current Affairs. I've followed them, and I actually know the guy who started it. But there's an element of reaching a certain level as someone who espouses these views, and then realizing certain practical complexities of, oh cool, like I always talk about co-ops are great, I have a lot of articles arguing for co-ops, and then when it comes time it's like, wait, I want creative control over my endeavor that I started. I want this to be good. It's important that I'm still at the helm to manage this. Wait, shit, how does this work?
Yeah, it always
and
comes
then-
down to
yeah.
selfishness and just personal justifications of their actions. They say, well,
Well, I don't think it is only that, because I think there's some genuine reasons for things to be run in ways other than co-ops, because or not just like arguing against co-ops, but like there's a certain standard in place. So when you have like a magazine or whatever, if you're concerned about the quality falling of your magazine and it becoming no longer relevant, no longer pushing the message well enough, because we talk a lot about like, is something far left enough or whatever, and honestly most of the time it's irrelevant, because it's really just a question of, is it effective enough, is it doing a good enough job, however the hell far left it is. And so when you look at like Hassan, he's doing a really, really good job bringing people in to something that people are willing to identify with the label leftist, whatever, socialist. And then the question is, well, what are you effective at bringing them into actually doing? And so something like organizing like a charity stream, I actually think that there's something to that. Obviously, okay, he raised this money he raised other people's money to make a thing happen. But there's some kind of community aspect of that's really what we should be building on as leftists. Is, okay, well, we organize this money to be raised. How could we organize volunteers to do something? How could we organize people to do something
sure.
local themselves? How does that build? How does that anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah. So if I can jump in from this, but these are often like capitalist critiques, right? That like institutions will not be effective once they become democratized. You have to have some board, you have to have an executive, and all that kind of stuff. The real and like, as a matter of fact, I would be sympathetic to the argument of, we're not there yet as a society. Society is not structured or culturally built around a socialist view of power and distribution and wealth and all that kind of stuff. So we're just not there yet. But then create the fucking thing. Make a food cooperative, make community housing, buy an apartment, and then let people live in that apartment as co-owners, kind of like a condo, but not shitty. Like these are all things that could be done, but they're just fucking not.
But does
no, Dan first, and then Alice.
Yeah, I don't think we much disagree on that. It's obviously community building is like essential to most ideas of socialism, and a lot of that does with helping people organize together and create a social union to implement their own policies through brute force or other means. So I entirely think that, to that point, as Karen Point said, it's that is given the situation to the critiques of either side to that, but it, even as we have mentioned, he's like a way into radicalizing into people believing in social policies or further. It's not the exact method that probably would say be effective entirely causing a social movement within like the United States, for example.
But quick counterpoint, all of the reasons why like capitalists and mixed economy capitalists object to the radicalization in the first place is because all of the points that are being brought up by these people for why they can't do the lefty thing is the arguments that capitalism bring for why socialism doesn't work in the fucking first place. So you're
Literally true.
radicalizing people to a structure that you haven't even proved works on a small level. Like the whole, when it comes to like experimentation, you don't fucking like I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be like a little bit not hyperbolic, but I'm just gonna be a little bit descriptive. You don't go into American society, execute all the landlords, and then go, now what? Like, that's not the game plan. The game plan is you build a fucking cooperative housing place first. You build a cooperative grocery. You build high density fucking housing with the logistics and the lifestyle that people like all that kind of shit, and you do it on a small scale, and you say, listen, capitalism is fucking great for some things, but it's dog shit for these things. We have a working model that works on a small scale. We need to expand this up to society. And the fact that like literally this is like somebody being like, I'm gonna go fucking run a marathon, but they can't run a fucking 10-minute mile. It's fucking absurd.
So if I may
Well,
ju-
but the
so
thing
if
is,
I-
I think that
Really,
So if I may jump
the-
in, I
the-
just
just wanna-
want to.
Okay.
Sorry, Chad. I just want to add a little bit. Like, I think that kind of a lot of this conversation, in terms of like how leftists are feeling betrayed by Hassan Piker right now, who's a 30-year-old man and has a lot yet left to do with his life. Like, we don't know what he's going to do in the future. He could be very charitable. He could do all these things that we're talking about. He still has a long time to prove.
He's
But,
gonna come.
He might not. I'm not going to bet that he's going to do that, but he still has a long time.
Of course
to prove
not.
It.
Of course
but,
he's not
like,
going to do it.
Again, I think that it's kind of wrong, because I think that most of the things that we're trying to get towards this progressive society, none of that is done by individual action, unless the individual action is voting for people who are trying to get progressive policies passed. Like, but that's not exactly individual action. We're talking about government action, like, or at least I am. I think I think that that's the way that we get to this society that we want. I mean, I get worker co-ops, all that, but no worker co-op is going to be able to compete with Walmart. No worker co-op is going to be able to compete with Amazon. Not right now. I think we're far beyond the point where like a worker co-op can be this thing that saves us. Now, should he be putting his money where his mouth is? Yeah, of course. Does it make him a performative socialist? Yeah, of course. But like at the end of the day, I don't see how.
But
I don't think he's a hypocrite for buying a house.
Okay, sure. He's not a hypocrite for buying a house because, as we've already mentioned, definitionally, like you can be rich under a market socialist structure. That's not the argument. In the fear of all individualistic, libertarian, mixed economy capitalists or capitalist folks is that when you say we can't implement this on a small scale, we can only implement it on a big scale. Basically, what you're saying is our system only works if we have top-down power over how we do society. And the frustration from like a libertarian or a capitalist or individual rights or liberal democratic perspective is that when we look at top-down socialism or top-down communism, so far, all communists have been able to achieve is fucking authoritarian state capitalist fucking
That
nightmare.
is fucking absurd.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
you're-
Go
yeah,
for it. I am
I'm-
so fucking
yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Yeah,
for
get
this.
him,
Well,
Joe.
Counterpoint, you're just yelling
I'm
at
so
Psycho
ready.
right
First
there.
of all,
Oh,
first of
sorry.
all, okay.
I'm so
Take
ready.
the first swing.
Okay, the idea that like, this is like ideological bullshit. Oh, they've achieved this authoritarian state. And look, there are criticisms you can make of the USSR, okay? But the idea that that is the
This isn't
USSR,
going
for
away.
example's only achievement is absolutely fucking absurd. And I've got to say as well, this idea of like, listen, counterpoints is doing
That's
the
not
thing he
even what
always
he
does and
said.
go, oh, No, listen. He's
But
doing the
that's
thing he
not what
always
he
does,
said,
right?
though. He didn't say that was
No,
her only
listen.
accomplishment.
Shut up. The only
I
thing.
know.
Right,
Somebody,
listen,
we're
okay?
speaking the fucking
come on.
truth. We gotta tell him to shut up. I get
No,
it.
But
listen.
you start
there's
tossing when
right
he's
at the-
talking.
Pounds of Points is doing the thing where he looks at a couple of Twitter lefties going kill landlords in Minecraft or whatever, and he's going, "Oh no, yeah, look, there's these, there's people out there who engage in like very utopian ideas of what society's going to be like. The whole concept is, you look at the material circumstances and realities of the world. You try and solve the contradictions that exist collectively and collaboratively, and move forward. There isn't going to be a stage where we go, "Oh, let's go and do this and kill these people and kill that people and da 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 da." It's about the expertise to look at society and how it operates and move things forward. That is the true idea and project of socialism and communism. And the thing is,
Right.
we live in a different material reality to what Russia did in 1917. So any project that going along those lines is going to inevitably turn out differently. That's
Okay.
all I've got to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, I'm
Logic,
so
I love you,
excited.
but that was totally not the right critique for that moment. Okay, counterpoints. The direct answer to what you were saying, when people are talking about small co-op can't compete with Walmart, it's not because we need a big government thing to make a thing that works well enough that the extremely efficient Walmart system that's patented, whatever, that's the best thing ever. No, the issue is that those large corporations, those multinational corporations, they have so much government control that they're able to make their system work for them very, very well. So I totally agree with you that anybody who's like lefty who says like, no, like this can't work on a small scale, we need the government to make it work for us, that's bullshit. But the critique of saying whatever, this corporation is extremely powerful and they have a huge amount of control over the government currently, and that currently prevents us from making some kind of community thing based work. That's the critique.
So
Okay.
are you saying like there's so much, for instance, infrastructure, like not just physical, but like governmental infrastructure,
Yeah.
that backs like the capitalist form? Like for instance, when you're talking about energy, right? When you're talking about competing with oil, it's hard because oil has like massive amounts of infrastructure all over the country. It has subsidies, right? It has all that good stuff, and then you're like, oh well, why doesn't solar compete? Well, it's not so easy to do so, right? Yeah, okay. All right. Thank
And I-
you. Thank you, Lemon Hun, Decoy Octopus, for like gifting so many subs just then that my computer slowed down. 100 subs for Decoy Octopus.
Holy.
Yeah,
Jeez.
thank you.
Socialism.
I better see some prime. Like this is not.
That's
This is
capitalism.
not an
Give me a fucking
emergency.
break.
This is not an. Yeah, I know. Oh man.
Nope.
Good point. Call
Something
me
to
out on that
Prime.
one.
That's socialism.
$100.
Yeah.
Heard you, folks.
So,
Capitalism
He's
based.
gonna co-op.
so Decoy Octopus, thank you so goddamn much. You only gifted one sub to the channel before, and now you're 100. Okay, I like that kind of escalation. You can all learn from something from him. Thank you so much, Decoy Octopus, for being so kind as to help us out. There will be Prime Banking emotes in chat. I know there will be because that's what we have them for, right? To show people that invest in this community that we appreciate them. So I know when I scroll down here, I'll find a whole list of Prime Banking emotes. Thank you, Decoy Octopus, for being so kind as to help us out. In Seismic, oh, wait a minute. This is more? Hold on. Where am I? But yeah, thank you so much. It's just like my computer's. Wait a minute. How many are there? A Decoy Activist, thank you. I think someone else donated too, but I'm sorry. If I did, then you got lost in the sauce. But I thank you. I think Seismic might have donated. I don't know. You got lost in the sauce. Thank you. All appreciate it. All right.
Okay. So I got a little bit too excited. It's actually probably really good that you gave me a little break.
Oh, sorry. Pause. That's why I was confused. He gifted 300. He gifted 300. He gifted
Based.
300. Whoa. I'm sorry. I didn't. Because like it kept scrolling, and I was like, I wasn't sure. I'm like, is this a new group? No, it's not a new group. No, it's a new group. He gifted 300 subs. Holy
Wow.
crap.
And-
Yeah.
And
Prime-
as such, he now owns that proportion of the shares of your show.
Yes.
Bada Honks,
Indeed he
baby.
does.
Wait, how many subs total do you have? Because what, should 3 of us leave and there should be 3 of him, or how many?
I'm not paying into a union, okay?
This is why I'm tier 3. I don't have to worry about this.
Wait, so Prime, so when's the co-op coming? You got the surge of subs. Now you gotta Gotta
Yeah,
start
you
the
got to
co-op.
start
Can I
redistributing
talk
I
that.
gotta
about-
say that I have not given my opinion on this matter yet.
I don't wanna-
I'm not
I
held to anything.
I want to
Listen,
opt out.
I'm just saying, I just want to raise taxes for billionaires, okay? Jeez.
Decoy, you just blew my motherfucking mind. Thank you, Decoy. I don't know why, but like you're doing this. So I do thank you for the kindness, for the generosity, investing in this community so we can continue on to the future. I know we're interrupting the content here, but special circumstances. Thank you, Decoy Octopus. You're amazing. All right.
Raise taxes for those with more than 1,000 subs.
And Rackus Network, thank you for 1,000 bits as well. He says, Prime, turn up Connor's mic, everyone. It's 10 times louder than him. All right. He gets super loud though. Like he doesn't shut up. All right, no. All right, that's fine. I'll do it. Go ahead.
I'll try to be very calm. Okay. I don't think anywhere in my 3-minute rant did I say that the USSR or the CCP didn't achieve some good things despite being dystopian authoritarian nightmares. I don't know where that point came
Oh
from.
my god!
Okay, hold on. So if you want to go down that
Will you
fucking
just
road,
maybe-
I don't give a
No,
shit.
look, we
So,
don't have to,
hold on.
okay? But you're filling it with like ideological shit and going on about like fucking. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Wait, I'm
I'll
sorry.
let you
Are
speak.
we
My
not
apologies.
here to fight over ideologies and how they affect the world? What the fuck are you bitching
It's
about?
pure ideology, guys.
No. The point.
my
The
God.
point. Okay, look, just continue. Make your comment. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted you. My mistake. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was getting a little feisty. I think you're getting a little feisty too. Anyways, so the here's another thing. I think Socrates came at me with this point. I fundamentally fucking reject that you cannot do small scale fucking socialist projects. I think that's absolute fucking bullshit. There is a company that is
that was not my point. I
Okay,
was saying
fine.
if somebody says that, then they're full of shit.
Okay, cool. Then
Yeah.
let me prove how they're full of shit. There is so the workers owning the means of production. If there was a privately held company in which the workers held all of the stock for that fucking company, I would consider that workers owning the means of production. There's a grocery chain in the Southeast that's incredibly successful. It's called Publix. It's privately held. All of the workers have private stock inside the company. And as a result, they have grocery baggers with physical and mental disabilities who retire as near millionaires because they sell their stock after 30 years of work and they turn around and give it back to the other people who work in that business. So the fact that this isn't something where, I don't know, like fucking Hassan or whoever, whatever rich fucking leftists because they're fucking pundits and they're jerking off the fucking socialist class. The fact that they haven't figured out like, hey, are there already cooperative programs that are doing it right? Are there businesses who give a shit about their employees and are giving good businesses? I'm going to buy stock in those companies. I'm going to start charities. I'm going to start grocery co-ops. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start that. Pretending that you can't do this because of the evils of fucking capitalism is so insert ableist slur here that it blows my fucking mind and sends me into a rage.
So I would
Just like to
would
point out
just-
that I actually am part of a co-op grocery store, so I'm doing more praxis than Hassan.
There we go.
Yeah,
Sound to me.
Definitely.
well,
I would just
mean,
counter to Connor points that it's not all or nothing on the socialism or the capitalism thing. Like I personally am not like a full blown socialist. I definitely I don't think that we're ever going to get rid of capitalism, and so I believe that we have to work within its framework. Which is why I again think that like government action is far more effective.
What is the framework?
Framework of capitalism?
Yeah, what is that framework, by the way?
Money.
Just money? That's the only
Well,
thing.
it's far more than that, but I
Right,
don't really
so what
want
is
to
it?
go into
Commodity,
explaining.
commodity equation.
Yeah, money,
What is it?
private businesses. What more do you want?
People being able to make decisions between themselves without a third party, right? I agree, I
That would
wanna
be
pay
like
this
that would
for
be like
good,
free market
right?
capitalism if you want to have like no regulation or anything like that.
Right.
well, I'm
Which
Capitalism.
I'm not. Which again, I'm trying to say there's something in the middle, right? So I know you're trying to drag this back into a white and black situation where it's like, but I'm not. No, I'm trying to say there's something in the middle,
Why
right?
wait, why did you say white and black?
Yeah, it's
Why did I
kinda weird
colloquially,
say
you
that?
had white
See,
people
oh,
for
colloquially,
shit.
it's,
Usually,
it's always
people.
black or
damn it,
white,
why do I
right? Even
constantly?
Michael
You know what,
Jackson
Prime?
said it was
What the
black
fuck
or
are
white.
you even
So
talking
CTV
about?
is
I
just
come
memeing
on,
like
he
you
always
feel the
does.
need to
I
do
swear
that
to
there.
God.
I mean, that's kind of
Okay.
telling.
CTV is just memeing. That's all he's got is
Interesting.
memes.
Hey, look, ever since I
Okay.
came on to Prime's panel, I've been a racist, I've been an anti-Semite, I've been a
You
fucking
should stop
apologist.
doing that.
Okay,
Yeah,
The
like
first
dude.
thing is to
You should
admit it.
really
You've
stop doing that.
personally insulted the Saudi royal family that one time.
yeah,
I don't
the
think-
great kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I personally insulted them. I don't even know what I was saying anymore, but like, it's just not all or nothing. That's all. I'm trying to say.
Counterpoints, just so you know, some gifted gift me 2,000 bits. He said he would give it to you, but you don't have the Twitch channel, so that's why he gave it to me. So just saying that.
We are in the process of monetizing, and also
Gotta
I just want to let you know
monetize.
we actually are figuring out a way to be cooperative, to make, like, I want to make a salary, I want to do well, and then I want to return material benefit to the people who invest in the channel, and we're thinking about how to do that and what the dollar amounts and the balance and all that kind of stuff is. So yeah, join the, literally the website is going to be called the Counterpoints Cooperative Program, and I'm going to fucking make leftists shit blood when I do what they advocate for better than them while being a mixed economy capitalist. That's actually the only reason why I'm even here.
We'll go to
How big of a
let's go to Dan next, and thank you for the 4,000 bits. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
why
gonna
they
go
gotta shit
turn.
blood though? That's just
What?
vivid.
I'm speaking here, CTV.
That's just
So,
vivid though.
Yeah,
Come
let
on,
me.
come on,
hold
come on,
on,
CTV.
blood.
Come on. Yeah, I'm going to turn it down up to 11. And as we're going to say to Jones, I do understand his analogy about black and white, instead just wanting to meet in the middle. Like, as we don't want to, like, say counterpoints beyond civic nationalism to be equivalent to Nazis, but at least we want to go to a point where at least we could all benefit from a best system that could work within a society that would really get people to a better state of living while having the same amount of freedoms as we do. And we could have disagreements on that matter. As we're going to go back to the point about Hassan Piker, though, as we all have agreed, that he should at least put more into his community and area for at least systems to help people develop and organize. And that's entirely to the point that we should at least cooperate to that. We can go and say, oh, then this will lead to communism and total destruction of society itself, but we have to be practical here.
Well, and can I say this is literally how fucking easy this shit is? So he probably does, I don't know, 10%, 20% down on the fucking house. He's paying the mortgage. He's making a few $100K a year. Literally, like $100K donation to the fucking DSA chapter of like Austin, Texas or some shit. That's it. Fucking beef squash. You're fucking done. And if people bitch at that, then you could just say, hey, listen, I'm not, because frankly, again, I think Hassan is a charming coomer. He can say, hey, listen, guys, I do not know how to spend this money. I don't know how to do praxis. I know how to be beautiful and charming and sleep with porn stars and talk about socialism, but that's all I can do. So I'm going to give 100K to 200K to people who actually care about socialism and know how to implement it. And go, if you care about how that money's spent, then go fucking talk to them. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm going to be Kuman in West Hollywood.
Okay, we're going to go to we'll go to Alice next, and then we'll go to Chad. But before that, like, first of all, has he actually had sex with porn stars? Is this a thing?
Yes, he's dated like 2 or 3.
Of course he has.
Mia Malkova, Jacqueline Griffith. I don't know if he's dated any other ones.
Oh, all right.
And I only know these women's names through Hassan. I've never seen them before in my life. Just watching streams and seeing
of course.
Unprompted, I mean,
there were just a series of sounds that came out of your mouth. I didn't know who you were.
No idea who they were until Hassan.
And Nick, that same person said they gifted the CTV in the past because he doesn't care about your ideology. He'll help you out. So thank you, Nick, and thank you for gifting CTV. All right, let's go to Alice.
Yes. So first off, counterpoints. I don't want to see your history because I'm sure that your history has some questionable things with those porn stars. And then second off, we've been talking about kind of like socialism and like where we can make progress and not. And I imagine we probably have a mixture of radical socialists and then kind of like, I guess I'll call it like progressive socialism. I'm not really sure what the proper terms are here. I'm not a politics person, actually. But point is that we have people here who think that there's going to need to be some sort of massive, maybe violent change in Minecraft for socialism, and then some people who think they can make change like in the current system that we have. So we have like in intra-system and like external to the system. And I'm not sure which Hassan is. I don't know what he is. So if he's like
Yeah.
a radical and he's external, then obviously this is bullshit and he's an idiot, and I don't know why he would buy a house that's $3 million if he's a radical socialist. But if he's not, if he's what I'll say is like an intra like systemic
Yeah,
like
Malkovich is
socialist, and he
hot
thinks that he can make some sort
AF.
of gradual change,
I'll have to look up
then
who that is. Give me
arguably
a
he
second.
did the right thing by buying a house that's going to allow him to network potentially in politics. So that's kind of what one of my questions would be. I don't know what kind of socialist he is, so I don't know
Okay.
what he's doing. And it is quite possible that he'll use this influence for positive change in the system. Maybe he thinks that we can make change inside a capitalist system.
Is that
Yeah,
why you get
I
a?
can flesh this out. I can flesh this out a bit. I know
She's
a lot about
okay.
this.
She's
okay?
not
This is so basically there's clips of
not my
Hassan
favorite, but
going back,
he's
you know,
alright.
years. Like he had his old setup. And basically there's clips
He's
of him
alright.
talking about, like
Yeah,
you
a little
say,
bit. I see
the
it.
rivers running red with the blood of landlords in Minecraft. And then he's talking about, you know, looking at a big house going, doesn't this just make you think we should just reappropriate their wealth? You know, I'm sure there's more clips as well. So he has gotten big on, you know, on this radical rhetoric. And now he's at the top of the pile of gold. He's going, and there's a tweet going, oh, just tax me more, just tax me more. And it's like, okay, well, what is it? So there's basically two things that have happened here, okay? Option number one is that is being subsumed and recuperated by capital. So what that means is he did have a radical message, and as he's gotten more money and he's, you know, the incentives are there. This is a structural thing. Incentives are there to make him move towards softer rhetoric, to become a SOCDEM, which essentially is what he is now, more or less, right? So that's the option number one.
Prime's mods
which
banned you
is
for
what it
no
is.
reason.
The second one, though,
What
would
were
be
you
that,
saying? Were you
there was
even
more
chatting?
intent there, and actually, he didn't really mean what he was saying before. He was just saying it to be spicy and build an audience. And now he's got to the top of the pile. He's like, oh well, you know, backing away from that rhetoric. So basically, he's either the second option, a grifter. The first one, he is, you know, been subsumed by the system, which I guess I'm a bit more sympathetic to. But here's the thing: if he's been subsumed by the system, is that the fate of all lefty content creators?
Definitely said some idiotic things in the past, I'm
$3
sure.
million
I know
house
I
in a
have.
few years' time when I'm massive. So
look at
how do we
you.
avoid that?
The answer is
you
yes,
already
John.
did
Look
it.
at you.
You already
That's
did
true.
it.
I already did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. As we all do.
Okay. So I completely listen, I understand. And on top of that, I think that part of the reason why I love capitalism so much, or at least mixed economy capitalism with like decent wages and benefits and all that kind of stuff. I literally want a single payer healthcare program. Is the reason why I love mixed economy capitalism is because it's so good at fucking subsuming revolutionary fucking dipshits.
Yes.
Literally
Yes.
so many fucking assholes buy Che Guevara fucking t-shirts. And I can't think of a bigger fucking insult than be like he was murdered by paramilitaries. And I think he would be more pissed off that he was turned into a commodified t-shirt made with fucking slave labor. Like I literally think he'd be more pissed off about that shit. So anyway, so the fucking point is I think mixed economy capitalism is really good at subsuming dissidents. That's part of the reason why I advocate for it, because I think it's a powerful and interesting system. But all of that being said, even if he backed down on his previous rhetoric, even if he doesn't want to kill landlords or rich people or let's reappropriate their wealth or anything like that, there's still an entire option here of socialism, an entire wing that has nothing to do with authoritarianism or killing anybody, which is basically libertarian socialism. And as far as I've been educated by other leftists or whatever, there is a shitload of things that you can do. The whole point of libertarian socialism is to create a parallel social structure to the point that the state is not even needed. There is so much to do, whether you're talking about like homeless outreach, getting cheap food to people, getting cheap housing to people, building community gardens or community housing. There's about a million fucking things to do on the libertarian side. And the fact, I know he's not like a particularly thoughtful guy, but the fact that nobody in his circle of fucking leftists have been like, hey, bro, you're going to catch some fucking flack for moving into West Hollywood for a $3 million mansion. Maybe consider investing in the libertarian side since you're not as interested in memeing about killing landlords. And the fact that that's not something that one of his friends did literally makes me think that he has shitty fucking friends.
Well, I think he hangs out with all the other big Twitch streamers. I don't know how many actual, you know, dyed-in-the-wool socialists and communists and Marxists he actually hangs out with. I mean, who he keeps company is irrelevant, but like,
no, fuck that, because I want to point something out. If Mike from PA fucking simps for Hassan at this point, whatever shred of fucking credibility that guy had left, I will fucking
That's
lose.
hilarious.
Like fuck that. You're talking to fucking Destiny about how he doesn't know what a fucking TIF is and sewer socialism and all this bullshit. And meanwhile, your fucking boy is fucking buying a mansion when he's fucking talking about socialism. Get the fuck out of here.
So here's like an interesting angle. So if we all agree that he's basically he's been corrupted by the system, he lost whatever radical edge he had or pretended to have because that was the way to make the most money and viewers at that point, and now it can't really support it now that he's got the home. What if we reclassify him as the 14th angel, whatever? Reclassify him as a bank, right? So we have this whole fucking rhetoric of like, bank flying a pride flag, right? And it's like, okay, well, this isn't good, it's hypocritical, whatever. Fuck that. I think it's good. Blank flying a rainbow flag. Oh, they're firing a lot of their LGBTQ workers. Oh, that means that their hypocrisy is public. They've made a statement. This is something that we can actually hold their feet to the fire for because they've said that they're going to do a certain thing and they're not doing it. If they weren't going to say it, we wouldn't have any leverage. But now we have some leverage, right? Maybe that's what we do with Hassan. So we say, okay, well, you're this big $3 million corporation or whatever, how much money he has. You're flying a rainbow flag. Not only that, you have this whole lefty Twitch stream. So what do? We just figure out a way to bully him into doing whatever it is that we think is good. Something mutualist, something co-op, something outreachy.
I'm not a leftist, but yes, and like for y'all, like I wish you luck in bullying Hassan into doing something positive with his money, because frankly, like I've seen a lot of really cringy and embarrassing shit on Twitter.com. Watching fucking Hassan Sims fucking do mental gymnastics
Yes.
through flaming fucking hoops in order to fucking stan him actually has been the most embarrassing thing that I've seen. And I've been on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch for like 1.5 to 2 years now. It's fucking impressive.
Yes, I completely agree with you, mate. You're completely right, and the fact that these people profess like Marxist or leftist or whatever, engaging in no kind of critique or structural. I'm not saying you have to go after Hassan, but there's a structural critique, and I've made it on this panel. There's a structural critique you can make. In terms of being subsumed and stuff like that. People don't want to do that. They just want to fucking stand this guy. And that is an issue linked to parasocial relationships. And I think that's a
But, like,
big problem,
always-
and it fucks up lefty shit. Anyway, go
Hold
on.
on,
Sorry.
but we always talk about systems. We always talk like in lefty spaces. We're talking about systems and how systems have the real power, right? Systems, institutions have the real power, and not individuals, right? But we're saying this individual has so much power, right? And look, this man is very wealthy. There's no two ways about it, right? He's very wealthy, but that like he has so much power to make such a significant change. Like, does he?
So all I'm saying is,
Yes.
if people don't want
No.
to criticize Hassan individually because they got a fucking simping for him, you can still make a structural critique that doesn't actually critique Hassan. But there's two different ways you can go about it, right? So you don't have to go down the individualist route. I'm just saying that there are ways you can critique this that are relevant and are pertinent and engage in an analysis of the ways in which the system fucks with us all. Anyway.
So I don't think
Can I
that
go
I don't
first?
think that Hassan Piker and his $2.7 million home and however many hundreds of thousands of dollars he's making a year can really do shit in the grand scheme of things. I mean, like he can, unless maybe he's canvassing like locally, like then he can
Only
put a lot of
Destiny does
money
that.
But you're
Yeah.
no,
behind
you're
like his
thinking,
local.
okay. You're trapped in the bubble of only thinking about like electoral politics, right? There's lots of things you can do outside of electoral politics that aren't just like going and shilling for the DNC. Like some of the stuff even Counterpoints was saying, you can set up this fucking housing thing, or you can set up a tenants union, right? And you can have a radical org. And I'm not talking about let's go and LARP or something like that. But stuff that's outside of the
So
system.
with
that's
all
pushing
due
us forward.
with all due respect to Hassan Piker, I wouldn't trust him. Just from what I've seen,
Okay.
I wouldn't trust him to be a landlord's or like some co-ops, the head of some co-op or some shit, or to make a
Well, give money
co-op
to
or to
someone that
know
can do
anything
it,
about
Yeah,
business.
can be the
on,
bank.
on how to like
let me
run
get
a
this.
like successful co-op. I don't know. So
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
just to
Jan.
add, just add to Captain Joe's. Let's go to how like Hassan Piker became this like big in the first place. He was into like his uncle owns the white Young Turks news organization or the corporation, and then he got a job there through nepotism, and then eventually he left started his own stream with the audience that he gained from TYT, and eventually got into some controversy, specifically one of them with Dan Crenshaw, that eventually showed up to do even bigger SNL content, and that clout got him to where he is now today. So like eventually we can say that the structure of how that person like Asambar got into his position now is pretty bad, and we don't like nepotism, right? Like my uncle owns this place, so now I get this audience, and
But
it ends up making that.
but I mean, like, okay, I'm not I'm not a fan of nepotism, certainly, right? But like in the end, people get opportunities in many different ways, right? It just happens, right? Like and it's happened to many of you here on the screen, right? You've known someone. It may not have been a family member, but you've known someone who gave you the opportunity or put you in touch with someone who gave you opportunity, right? Like that's how it happens, unfortunately, right? So to say that, well, like there's something wrong with Hassan for building his empire off the back of the fact that his uncle gave him an opportunity. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
no,
I mean,
he retained his audience based off of his own skill and charm. Like his
He's
uncle could have,
adorable.
his uncle could have handed him the opportunity. But the reason why, so for instance, it's really hard to build an audience. It's super fucking hard to build an audience, and not only is it hard to build a fucking audience, it's hard to retain them as you move from interest to interest. If they like you for one thing, if they like you for being a monkey banging fucking two cymbals together, they only want to see the cymbals. They don't want you to play the drums or the guitar or the bass. They just want to see the fucking cymbals, right? So basically that's really frustrating as a content creator, right? So Hassan has a talent. He has a charm. He was handed an opportunity, maybe through some level of nepotism, but he's been able to retain his audience because he has something, right? He has something that works for him. The frustration though, so that's a separate statement.
My critiques to the system specifically.
Sure. But at the same time, I don't think we really have a better one. And if you look at like socialist nations or big state capitalist authoritarian nations, they fall into similar levels of like nepotism. It seems to be a part of human nature. But anyways, hold on. I wanted to come back to you. The reason why like individualists or communitarians get so frustrated with like the collective critique from like socialists, where like, well, we can't really expect one individual to make any kind of change, is because everything starts with a fucking individual. Even the goddamn leftist fucking revolution started with Marx or Mao or Stalin or Lenin, and then they built a fucking cult of personality or a fucking audience or whatever, and they started doing shit based off of a collective attention to their ideas. So when I hear a collectivist being like, well, we can't really hold people accountable because individuals can't change anything. The only thing that's ever changed anything through fucking history is individuals articulating their ideas to their communities, and then the communities deciding that's a good fucking idea, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. And by the way, finally, fucking Hassan does not have to do any of this shit. He doesn't have to do any of this shit. He can find people who are smarter than him, who don't fucking sit around playing video games and cooming all day, to do it for him. But he has money and wealth and clout and power, and pretending 35,000 eyeballs and $500,000 fucking dollars of liquid income is powerlessness. Get the fuck out of here. This is like 100 times more power than any of us are going to achieve in the next decade. So acting like he's impotent is fucking insane.
No, it's true. No, counterpoints. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead, Dan.
So counterpoints. Are you alluding to this whole point of that because they're great men in history? Is that your entire thesis here?
Yes, I think Hassan is the next Mao Zedong.
No.
I think he's going to lead us to the next.
Back then they wrote books.
You got me.
Hassan is the Lenin of today. Okay.
Then if you're talking about that in a historical manner, like great men history is very reductive to the whole entire system, as we can describe through how these men end up coming to power in the first place. We have to talk about the people who put him there, and understandably why they even follow such people.
The thing is, Marxism and whatnot, and dialectical materialism. It's about understanding material conditions of the world and how they primarily push things forward. I think it's a mistake though to think that like, oh well, what can an individual do? Gramsci actually has a quote about this, and it's about having a pessimism of the mind, but optimism of the will. So that's about within yourself. Having the optimism to push forward with your ideas, and trying to move things forward. So, I think it's a bit simplistic to just throw your hands up and go, what can an individual do? Well, when you do accumulate power and wealth, that puts you in a different position, and, have the optimism of the will. That's it.
It's really
I
hard.
definitely think that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Kat.
Oh, thank you. So I want to actually be really sympathetic to this argument, because I actually kind of agree that there's definitely, I mean, theoretically, if he was motivated enough, he wouldn't really need that much money. He could do a lot of the things that socialists espouse, with like co-ops and stuff like that. Um, so like, but I do want to kind of bring it back to like this. It feels like, to me, some of the argument that is being put forward right now is kind of this pie argument, and the pie doesn't expand, and like it doesn't really matter that. And Hassan's just not. He doesn't have enough money to really make a difference. $2 million net worth is just not enough money to make.
He
a
just
difference,
said
unless
that
you're
you
talking
don't
on,
need
like,
that.
a local level. If he wants to fund like 1 or 2 homeless encampments, homeless shelters. Thank you. Nobody's funding the encampments, for the record. I think that's part of the problem. So he's never. But in the end, his individual impact is extremely negligible.
Okay, fuck this and fuck this mentality. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because literally there's a parable. It's like a modern parable, and it's like a young boy. He's like 12 years old or something like that. He's walking down the beach, and there's like a whole bunch of starfish that have washed up, literally hundreds or thousands of them. Okay, and he's throwing them back into the fucking ocean, and an old man fucking walks up and he's like, you know what you're doing really doesn't matter, right? There's thousands more that you could possibly throw back to the ocean. So that, most of these starfish are just going to die. You're wasting your time. And literally the boy, undeterred, fucking picks up another starfish, throws it in the fucking ocean, and it says it mattered to that one. And the fucking point of that entire parable is you're saying that, like, oh, well, Hassan, the fucking, millionaire with fucking $500,000 of liquid fucking income, can't do shit on a fucking scale. Fuck that. He could literally be a fucking symbol to a whole bunch of fucking rich goddamn champagne fucking socialists and hypocritical fucking lefties and progressives across the United States of fucking America, that you don't have to be this fucking DNC fucking simp where you just suck fucking dick once you get rich enough in order to stay within the power structure. He could literally change the fucking narrative about what rich lefties do once they get into fucking power. And instead, he's playing into the same fucking dynamic that every fucking liberal and progressive does. And by the way, the stuff that makes righties shit blood, okay? Because you know what righties say? Righties fucking say that people are at their core self-serving pieces of shit who only look after themselves. And all you can do ultimately is try to encompass some kind of personal good and affect your immediate surroundings. That's the right-wing individualistic take. So a bunch of fucking collectivists taking a right-wing approach in order to fucking excuse leftists not doing shit with the minimal amount of fucking power they have. When are you going to have enough fucking power to implement anything with that kind of fucking attitude?
So I'm not sure.
And this is
True.
hilarious.
This is true.
Hold on, I'm not sure if I-
This is bang on.
I'm not sure if I would call the profit motive a right-wing approach, but okay.
Well, so
I don't
so
know
here's
what's
the
the
thing.
profit
So we can bring this back around a little bit. So we can criticize Hassan, right? He's got some amount of money now. He's got some amount of followers now. Why doesn't he start doing things in the real world? If we want to be real, I mean, can't we turn that lens back on ourselves?
Listen, that one homeless person, there's hundreds, thousands more like him. Don't worry about it, because your impact doesn't matter. That starving family, don't do anything about it. It doesn't matter. There's hundreds of thousands more starving people. That fucking cooperative fucking project that you want to get off the ground, well, it's probably going to fail. So you might as well not even bother, because capitalism is such a nefarious, manipulative machine that there's no point in trying to make the world a better place, because you're just going to be subsumed by the fucking machine anyways. Then what? Sorry, it's Captain A. Jones. I know you want to get back into this shit, but then But my whole thing is this is existentially fucking stupid for what all of us do on a goddamn daily basis. Literally, like half the people in this
CCTV just hit
fucking
himself
panel
with his
spend 20 hours a
microphone.
week arguing ideas in front of fucking people, hoping to convince them that eventually they will fucking change their minds and start implementing real and positive change within their own fucking lives. So to fucking say you individually, once you have a minuscule amount of power, you might as well not do shit because ultimately you're not going to change a fucking thing. Well, I've just been wasting 20 hours a week of the past 6 months of my fucking life trying to convince people of the exact fucking opposite. So, all right.
Well,
So I'm just gonna say, hold on, Dad. Hold on. I just have to hold on, Dad. I gotta respond to
Don't you dare leave. It's gonna fuck up my.
just one quick
Captain,
point.
hold on. All right, Dan, you got something quick, and then we'll go to Captain.
Yeah, I doubt you could even convince people to join and become civic nationalists. So.
I got a few hundred to a few thousand in my chat, and they weren't here 6 months ago. I'll tell you that.
Counterpoint, no, listen, counterpoint, even me and Cowboys have got some disagreements in certain areas. Counterpoint is absolutely right. You know, it's this fucking pessimism that people engage in. And yeah, I'm not fucking about that. The people that have fucking done shit in terms of like leftist history, absolutely have fucking, you know, gone out there and look, you know, we have to consider material circumstances, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, this is why, and this is where I might start to get a bit fucking spicy for some people. You need strong leaders in movements. You need the people whose material circumstances have put them in a position where they've got the personality, they can be extroverted, and they can actually lead movements to do things. If you look at great moments in history, there are people that have risen up as a result of their circumstances and have led these movements. So that should be the people that the streamers that are getting big, these are the people that are primed to do that. But they don't seem to be interested in that. They just want to go, okay, I'll go live in a nice mansion now. So it's a shame. It's a real shame. And there's a systemic issue at play. There's incentives at play. We need to figure that out so we can change it so we don't have this keep happening. That's it.
I gotta say, I've clarified a lot. But Counterpoints has a way of doing this where he frames everything, and I'm gonna say it again, in a black and white framework where it has to be this do or die, and it's like this all or nothing. You know what I mean? And I never said that he couldn't have an impact. I actually said the exact opposite. I said that on a local level, with the amount of money he has, on a local level, he could have an impact. First of all, and then second, I really think it's funny how everyone keeps saying, like, oh, the next Marx. Christ's sake, Hassan Abi is not the next revolutionary figure. He is not the next. He's not the next person that we're gonna like. He's not gonna get fucking elected to shit. He's not gonna do anything fucking politically that we give a shit about. Have you seen Hassan Piker? Yeah. Okay. So you say like do all this shit. He's a fucking naive 30-year-old. Who cares? He's just another person with a couple $1 million in this country. He's nothing in comparison. Like, okay, yeah, he has a bunch of people who watch his stream, and we've already called out the kind of hypocrisy of like espousing socialist views and having so much money. But like, in the end, you guys are acting like what is he supposed to do? Take his $2 million that he's earned and just give it all away? And then what? Nobody
said no one is saying that.
You don't even know it's going to even happen. It's not like you're going to sacrifice a goat and look at his intros and say, Hassan is going to be president in 2032. It's like come on, man.
Yo, with friends like these, y'all don't even need fucking enemies. I swear to God. Like the right wing, instead of shitting blood over fucking CRT and fucking Antifa fucking super soldiers, we could literally just kick back and let y'all fucking eat each other. Because literally all I fucking heard here.
They sent for their daddies. That's what they normally do.
Motherfucking I got bingo. I've been sitting there playing Counterpoints bingo, and I got enough shit bloods, right? So bingo, I fucking win. Right, here we go.
Counterpoints, are you having a gastrointestinal problem? If so, I'm sure we can help. Maybe it's your diet. I don't. All right.
Listen, if y'all had achieved universal health care, then we wouldn't be.
I need to get some new headphones. My headphones broke, so I'm wearing these ones, and they suck.
I don't think y'all did.
And they hurt my ears and my head.
And you were like, you might as well
it's
not
awful.
even try. You might as well not even try.
Give me a terrible headache.
All the left eating the left. That's too
okay. So hold on. Bernie Sanders, during the campaign, was criticized on these grounds that he had a house. I think it was like $1 million house, though.
He did stuff. He did stuff, right? Like, it's not a comparison.
And also that I don't think any righty here has said socialism is not achieved when you own a nice house. Like I don't think any righty has fucking asserted that. Like I understand, like if you go onto Twitter or like Adam and Sitch or some shit, by the way, who I like, but like if you go onto their shows, they're gonna be like, you're rich, well then you're not a real socialist. Nobody here has said that shit. I at the beginning of the conversation, I said that like socialism is defined as the decommodification of basic human need and the workers owning the means of production. That's all it fucking is. It has nothing to do with the material wealth of the people participating within the society. I don't give a fuck that Hassan has a nice house. I don't give a fuck that Bernie Sanders has a fucking Audi R8 next to his fucking Subaru. I don't give a shit. What I do give a shit about is the fact that the people who have wealth and power use the wealth and power for their espoused principles, or else they're fucking hypocrites. And if they're not hypocrites, they're fucking losers who don't deserve their fucking platform. That's what I'm saying.
I agree that there's a lot of people who don't deserve their platforms.
Socrates.
Sure. So
I wasn't shooting at any.
Okay.
Sure. So
I fucking was, but go ahead.
Okay. So on this note of kind of like community and self-critiquing of like, okay, you know, are we doing something performative? Are we just here for entertainment? Are we really trying to make a difference? I think to some degree, probably espousing these ideals, whatever, trying to both learn and teach at the same time, which is what, you know, anything that we're doing is about. We're trying to learn these concepts as we
Bank of Hassan.
It's probably useful, but that mentality of, okay, you know, I have this amount of power. I can't do something yet. I need to use this amount of power to grow more power, and then I can do something. That's presumably where Hassan is right now. Where, you know, he'd probably say like, oh, if I had $1 billion, then of course I would, you know, do a bunch of socialisms, right? But you know, he doesn't have that much money, he doesn't have that much power, so he's not starting doing socialisms. But we have, all of us here, some amount of money, some amount of power. So what are the socialisms that we could do today, like right now? What are the things?
What are the socialisms that we could do?
We're getting.
I am not Twitch streamer.
I just got a sub just today.
It's actually so Socrates. I was actually going to ask a very similar question, which was like, what is everyone doing to put for or like to advance their views, whatever political views that those are? What if anything are they doing, and do people necessarily need to do anything? Because like I'll start so as not to make this like a gotcha. Like my political views over the last, holy shit, 4 years have changed a lot, but over the last 10 years I've gone from being a fucking libertarian, fucking 9/11 is an inside job crazy conspiracy theorist, to a progressive market something. I'm not really sure. I don't know where I've landed really. I'm still making up my mind on a ton of different issues. So like I want to be a little charitable. If we should do anything, it's be charitable. Like to everyone, including Hassan. Like he's I'm just gonna say he's a young dude. He seems kind of like a party bro. What can we possibly expect from him? I don't know. I don't expect shit. And you know what? Here's the one thing I do know. He puts his sub count right on screen. The Bank of Assad. I love that. He puts his sub count right on screen. I think that's pretty fucking transparent. Nobody else puts their income anywhere else. So, you know, like if you're doing any other job. So I think that's about as transparent as you could possibly get. Who gives a fuck what he gives away? And if he wants to buy a house, who gives a fuck?
Throw some pride flags up on there.
He's a dude. I will actually. That. He's definitely a debate. He's definitely a bro. Like look at this face and tell me he's not a bro. Like look at him. That's a bro. That guy's gonna go have parties every day at his $3 million mansion.
Not maligned his fucking beauty.
Just don't do it during COVID. That's dangerous.
Okay. Fuck. All right, so should I actually answer this question? Are y'all ready for a 3-minute rant, or do you not want it? Because I mean, I can literally.
Let's
fucking
have it. Come on, I'm ready.
I
I'm ready.
always
Lehman
want it.
first. Is that a Lehman
Counterpoints,
Russ
you know I
thing?
always
Pick your
want it,
phone.
but let's go.
All right.
Starting the
okay.
timer.
Okay, so how have I lived my fucking values? Okay. I enlisted in the military when I was 18. I believe in American hegemony. The reason why is because I've seen it up close. I know that it's fucking ugly and it kills people, but at the same time, I think it does a lot of net good on the fucking world stage. And on top of that, I know what our enemies look like. So I basically risked my own fucking life in order to do that shit. I didn't have to do that. My parents were middle class, like upper middle class. So I never had to enlist in the fucking military, but I did anyways. Now, after fucking college, I knew that I wasn't done serving my community. So I became a law enforcement officer. That was another time that I risked my life for my values because I actually wanted to serve my community. While I was a police officer, I tried not to be as little racist or bigoted as possible. I was a libertarian in high school, which basically means that I think the government should interfere in your shit as little as possible. I try to live those principles as a law enforcement officer. So while people were being like violent or breaking into shit or doing drugs or beating the fuck out of people or stealing property, I would absolutely arrest people and maybe yell at them a little bit. But if somebody just did like a nonviolent crime, or if they were kind of chill and they were being nice to me and all that kind of shit, then maybe I would take them to jail if I had to. But if I didn't have to take them to jail, then I didn't. So I tried to be the change that I wanted to see in the world. When I got out of it, I became a critic of law enforcement, not because I think that law enforcement officers are bad, but because I think that we have a problem in this country about intelligently articulating law enforcement to the general public. They basically think that they're a bunch of fucking thugs and goons who like wake up every single day and just think about how to hurt and kill people. That's not what law enforcement is. There's like 30% of them that are dumb as fuck. There's 30% of them that are average Joes, and there's 30% of them that are the best people that you've ever met in your entire fucking life. And that needs to be communicated to the public. That way they don't see them as like neo-Nazi fucking monsters who are here to fucking destroy your life. But it is a flawed system that needs to be reformed. On top of that, now I'm making a decent amount of money. I've always wanted to do YouTube and articulate my ideas to the public. I feel like I'm doing pretty well. I just broke 10K. On top of that, what I'm interested in, and part of the reason why I'm interested in monetizing my fucking channel, is because I want to take some of that revenue and I want to do communitarian good. I am maybe 15 minutes away from a city called Eatonville. It's a historically black neighborhood. It was literally created by an all black founders. It has all of the systemic issues that we talk about as a society. One of the things that I want to do when COVID is not much of a concern and my wife is no longer concerned about COVID is I want to start going into that community, and instead of basically saying, oh, it's the fucking system, we need to fix the system, we need to do this, we need to do that, we're not going to fucking fix that system by the time I'm dead. I'm in my fucking 30s. By the time we fix the fucking system, I'm going to be 30 years into the fucking grave, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a fucking church and I'm going to say, hey, do you have people in the community, adult or student, who want to be mentored on mathematics or language? I'm a pretty good student. I'm a pretty good academic. So I would like to get people through high school because frankly, I think education is the key for people to be able to escape poverty. So while I can't change the system, maybe I can get a few people out of there. My mother was an English teacher for a really long time. She taught exclusively in rough neighborhoods, including in the city of Eatonville. And as a result, she created entire families that broke the cycle of poverty. So the reason why I'm so fucking offended by people saying that they can't impact their fucking communities is because not only do I know it's not fucking true, but the people I worship and the people that I love don't believe that shit for a fucking heartbeat. And what breaks my fucking heart for y'all is that it seems like leftists have all these highfalutin fucking ideas about how they want to improve society, but they literally can't bring themselves to leave their fucking house or put a dollar where their fucking mouth is in order to actually change society. They would rather just blame the fucking CIA and a bunch of fucking rightoid fucking dipshits about why they constantly fail at implementing their fucking ideas.
I mean, that just strawmanning the entire left altogether. Everyone's
I don't care.
as we could.
I don't care.
Look, this is
Okay,
what we
I'm
need to
sorry.
do, right? We need to prove counterpoints wrong. That's the point here, right? I want to see the look on counterpoint's face when we have fucking some real
I'm
shit
about
going
to.
down.
I'm about to. Okay. This book says otherwise, Connor. It's called Legacy of Ashes, A History of the CIA, and it is, it's a damning rebuttal of anything the CIA has ever done. So I don't know. Sometimes
What
when the
is it, like
lefties,
community-based
the
CIA?
CIA is behind everything, I truly do go, I truly do have a little sympathy for that argument.
Is that what you got out of my last 3-minute rant? Because the CIA was a
Dude,
very small
hold on.
portion of it.
Connor, I can barely remember past the last 10 seconds. So I was just trying to take the end of what you said and try to relate it to something, because I had a book on it. I was really excited to show you, and now you're just
It was exactly
I'll
3
read
minutes
it for you, baby.
Like, I just want you to know I timed you. It was
It
3
just
minutes.
seems like all y'all did was just prove counterpoints right. I mean,
That wasn't intentional. I
so
promise.
so you're talking about like essentially, are you using practice, like are you actually doing what you're saying? And like,
Yeah.
I'm not a political streamer. So do I do I do what I espouse? I suppose so, yes, to some extent, right? Like I'm feminist and like all I don't know, whatever. So there's all this shit that I talk about, and yeah, sure, I practice it. Am I out there like every other trans streamer, claiming I'm in the military or in like politics or whatever? No, no, absolutely not. Am I making some small changes on the scope that I'm able to make changes? Sure, yeah. Am I putting my money in the places that I think it's going to make actual good? Yeah, I mean, whenever I can. I don't make that much money. I mean, I make more money than like somebody working at a grocery store, but I don't make Hassan Piker money, right? So I can't buy a $3 million mansion. I might be able to afford renting an apartment, and So, but do I do the best I can? Absolutely. Like, could I give up my life to go become like some sort of crazy like communist revolutionary? I guess so. But would that actually do any good? Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing for me. I was like, my values or my views, they're not necessarily something that I can go put into practice very easily. And I think Hassan Piker, being a socialist, probably is in a similar spot to some extent. Now, does he have a lot more money and influence than I do? Yes. Is he using that money and influence in the most effective way that he could? Probably not, right? Like, he has more money and influence than I do, and he's using his platform to uh, apparently coom on stream or something. Like, that's not really effective, right? Now, is he maybe going to be able to use that platform effectively? It sounds like, based on what I'm seeing, like that he could. Maybe he should be a little more effective in his platform. Maybe he could use some of the ideas we've talked about here. That may, like for instance, co-ops and such. Perhaps furthering those goals on with his stream would be something that would be a good move after this, right? Like spending lots of money on a mortgage for a house. Maybe you can pivot that, say, yeah, I fucking bought a house, fuck you guys. Also, we're gonna start this fucking social experiment and see what happens if we do a co-op in this area. I don't know, like there's ways he could use his platform effectively, I guess. Like I definitely hear what you're saying, but you also have like half the panel is really tiny streamers who just have zero influence.
But here's the thing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't expect Hassan to do shit. When I said that he was the next Lenin or Mao or fucking Trotsky or some shit, I was fucking memeing. He's a beautiful coomer. That's what Hassan does. 30,000 people tune in a day in order to watch a beautiful man coom. Okay? So he can continue to coom and funnel money into his wallet, and then he can take 10% of that money and he can give it to people who actually advocate for his politics, who have a use for that money. And he will still be rich as fuck. And he'll still be able to coom. And he'll still be able to live in West Hollywood. But he will put money in the pockets of people who actually advance the political goals that he espouses for. And one of the things that pisses me off the most is basically, oh, hold up. Tech issue.
Oh no, what's happening? Connor,
sorry,
The
you're gonna
leftists
give
have
us
struck again. This is the CIA for sure.
God damn it! The fucking CIA got me. But what he can do, excuse me, is stop radicalizing fucking teenagers.
I mean, yeah, he's an
and implement some
entertainer,
real
but
fucking
the
shit.
basic gist
Okay?
is
Is
if
he
he's espousing all
radicalizing
these
teenagers?
I was
socialist
gonna ask that. It doesn't sound like,
ideology,
based
should
on
he
what I know
be
of him, that he's radicalizing
more
teenagers. I mean, it depends on what you define as
active
radicalizing,
and
right?
actually participating in that?
Saying that you're gonna eye fuck
showing
Dan
it by his
Crenshaw's eye
actions, you know?
socket is a little rough. Saying that America deserved 9/11
But
is a
yeah,
little
he's
rough.
just an
Saying that you're
entertainer.
gonna
I think it's
kill
just
landlords
more the
is what I
hypocrisy of
call
the lefties that want
hyperbolic.
to
Saying
hold
that
people like that up on a
society-
pedestal. I mean, if
oh,
he's
yeah,
one of the
that
most
same
popular
thing.
streamers
Okay. All right,
out
hold on.
there,
I
I
gotta
mean,
go
it
back
shows
to
a
the
lot
text.
about
Wait,
what
So
people,
I just
how
want to say,
dumb people are,
basically,
basically.
this is that we haven't even gotten into this whole other thing, right? Hassan isn't creating. He says he does agitprop. What is he agitating these people to do?
Excuse me.
To consume more content. And at the moment, it seems the function of leftist content is to
I
just
think
create more
Hassan's
consumers, and obviously
stuff
that
is
on
trash.
platforms which facilitate that
I
with the
think
algorithm.
Chud Logic is
and that's
way
a whole
better
other
a streamer
conversation to
than
get into. It's like,
Hassan
okay,
is.
so you're so-called
He's got way better
radicalizing these
takes.
people.
Yeah,
Great,
he's a
but
man
what are they
child,
actually
exactly.
doing with that radical thought
For
and perspective?
sure.
And look, listen, I differ from counterpoints.
He's pretty cringy.
I'm all right with a couple of memes about Dan
Pretty
Crenshaw's eye,
cringy.
but they are just that, memes. What is the political reality of what you can get people to do with what you've built?
Is somebody actually going to go out and face? Is somebody actually going to do that? I guess.
Okay, but you'd agree that's not helpful if you're actually trying to make some sort of social change. That's literally just content, right? And like content is
Exactly.
great
I
when you're a
agree with you.
content
I
creator.
really agree. Completely agree with you, and that's the problem, and that's the criticism I'm making. Is that it seems that the function of leftist content is just to create more and more consumers, and all of these platforms facilitate that. So
It's
yeah,
all
it's
content.
I mean,
It's
Yep.
all
Yeah,
content.
it's
It's
all
all
exactly.
well,
That's
I would
it. It's all
agree.
content. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I
And how
would
do we
agree
make
with
it not content?
I mean, I agree with Alex. Like a lot of this, I would definitely call this this whole thing shock content on both sides. We see that with Charlie Kirk, we see that with Gren Greenwald on Twitter, and we see too much of content here to
But no.
get as
Okay,
much
sorry.
viewers on them as possible.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
just to
politics.
say, but just to
That's
say, the thing is with Charlie
How do we
Kirk,
make
he
it
doesn't
not
give a
content?
shit. He's a
Yeah.
conservative, so he's happy with that.
I mean, it's
But
just the
lefties are supposed
thing
to
that,
be
like,
pushing
if
radical
this is the
change, and all
person that
that's
you
happening is people are
have
becoming
being a role
radical
model,
content consumers, right? And
it
they're
just
just
seems
watching these
pretty
platforms. So I don't
just
give a shit
kind of
about
like,
what
well,
Charlie
hey, he
Kirk's
must
doing.
not
with
really
respect.
mean what he
But
says, kind of
arguably,
thing.
he's being successful at it, right?
But
Like with
I mean, I said more power to him. I mean,
Turning Point
get that
USA.
house, man.
Yeah, but
Make
the
that
thing is,
money.
Turning Point USA.
I'm all
but
for
the thing is, Turning
capitalism.
Point USA has got structural power and financial
Yeah.
backing. All of these right wing orgs.
Everybody's
do.
lives
And
are
the left
streamed
don't
like the
have that
fucking
so
Truman
much,
Show these
unless you
days,
want
it
to work with
seems.
the DNC, and I think that's a mistake. If you want to be a
We didn't need
radical org.
people from the outside to put
yeah,
us
it's
in the
about
Truman Show. We
thinking,
went into
okay,
the Truman
we've got
Show
these people on these
willingly.
platforms, and this is specific to the
It's
left
pretty
that we need to
awesome.
consider is how do we get these people actually out and engaging in action that's going to make a difference, Because I don't think just a call to action, go and organize, which is what I do, isn't really the thing. I think for me, it's about the people that get to the positions of clout and money. They are the strong leadership that set up orgs that push the fucking movement forward. That's what you need. And you need money and you need time to do that. And that takes time to build. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it.
I don't disagree with all of that, but you also keep saying leftists. It's not just leftists. Everybody in this platform, not just Twitch politics, but like in general, online content creators, all have the same problem, whether they're right wing or not. Right wing or left wing or
Sure.
whatever the fuck
I
they
don't,
are.
with all due respect, I don't really care. The right wing can do what the right wing are going to do. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, they
concerned
can
as a
kinda
leftist.
fuck
Do you know what I
off,
mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree there.
So
Because my focus is on what lefties are going to do.
Yeah,
and stuff
they're
like
not
that. But,
effective. We're not effective.
yeah, exactly. The
left is not very effective.
online left is a fucking joke. Okay, let's be fucking real here. The online left is a joke. A bunch of pretenders, a bunch of fucking larpers. Okay,
True.
Soviet aestheticism. Yeah, waste of time,
I mean,
bullshit. Okay,
I actually agree
we
with
need a
you here.
bold
Well-
vision. We need a bold vision to
is-
push things forward, and that's not coming from the online left. It's a load of
Chad, are
fucking
you saying that
bullshit.
you want to become
I
the
mean, sure,
dictator
I mean,
of online
yeah,
left?
but, like,
Is
but
that
then-
what's meaning?
which then makes
I
you
feel
the only
like-
one that's relevant.
Oh,
Is
he's
that
just
right?
memeing.
Is your
Chud's just
logic?
memeing.
Oh no, don't make
wait,
this a
hang on a
fight.
sec. Listen, don't make this a fight because you're going to fucking lose, my friend. Okay, here's the
No.
reality. Okay, I'm not saying. Well, we'll see about that.
Not
I'm not
everyone
saying,
is Mel, right?
Okay, I'm
Mel.
not saying it's about me or anyone
Mel.
else, okay? I'm saying that the people that rise to the top clearly have got the personality and they've clearly got something
Oh, yeah.
about them. The material conditions have led them to a position where they're confident and they can push things forward. But they don't. It's not even an individual critique. This is a structural issue.
Oh, of
where there's
course not. Yeah, they're
incentives at
definitely not
play
living in
that
the
lead
real
people to
world.
do this. And
Definitely
as
not.
the online lefties online, we got to figure that shit out or it's going to keep happening and we're going to be stuck in this fucking capitalist hellscape forever. And that's fucking bullshit. That's it.
Right. Well,
Listen,
Okay,
can
cool.
I
It's the
get
second
that.
part that I wanted to hear. So just, I was hearing a little bit of doomerism, and I was hoping to hear that second half, which is what you provided. But is that we gotta do
Doomerism.
better?
Just, just one quick point. Yeah, like I don't like as for like Chud. Like I agree that a lot of it has been very bad. Like we don't want to have a bunch of Mels on the platform. It's kind of disingenuous and kind of dangerous because it doesn't really help the leftist community at all. But as said, like it doesn't like say all leftists are bad or all of it. Like
Okay. I'm not saying all leftists are bad. I'm saying that the online left and the problem is we're on platforms that incentivize this behavior and not only incentivize it, but they benefit from taking radical movements and removing their teeth, right? So we're engaging on these platforms and we need, as lefties, to find new, innovative ways to have a bold vision to push things forward and to try and avoid these pitfalls that others have fallen into in the past. And, all I see, I don't have any control over this, right? All I can do is what I can do on my channel. I'm going to build it. I'm going to build resources and see what I can do myself. But the reality is the online left is a fucking joke. And the sooner people realize that and start to contend with that, the sooner we can maybe start to figure this stuff out and move forward.
Listen,
okay,
guys.
I can.
So
all right, go
listen,
ahead. Counter, and then Captain.
listen, I want to be very transparent and very honest with y'all, okay? I had 2 veggie hot dogs and I had heartburn. That was my technical issue. And I thought Prime had finally killed me on his panel. I thought it was a heart attack. and y'all had finally made me stroke out, and that's what fucking happened. So I just want to be dead honest with
Sucks getting old, doesn't it?
that. Oh my god.
All right.
Tell me about it.
In fact. Okay. Captain A. Jones' last point, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
No, let's just move on.
Okay. So it means it was just about the meme. Okay. Yeah, you.
Me, I would.
Ah,
Oh my God.
never. Okay, I'm sure.
Slanderous accusations being
Definitely
thrown
not
around.
adding a pride
Well-
flag to my Hassan background. That's not what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Did
No
you
meaning
whip that
here.
up just like during? Because that's.
Yes.
I got really excited when I came up. Yeah.
Yeah,
While commenting on what you guys are talking about as well, actually.
So Socrates has a lot in common with you. I think you guys can be good friends, if not already. This is Zen rearranging of your visuals. He loves it. He loves it. So we like making connections here. Okay. So before we go on to our next topic, just remember my audience. If you
On a
haven't done so
flagpole.
already, follow the channel. Follow the channel. Make sure notifications are on because I do this all the time.
That's better.
If
Now
you're-
I'm not
a
blocking
lot of
his
people are
head.
new here, who are watching
That's
this,
all right.
haven't been here before. If you've been enjoying this, hit that follow button. Hit that follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. I do this 6 nights a week. Never miss a stream here. Always got content for you. Enjoy any of that. Hit that follow button right now. Also, exclamation social in chat. To follow us on social media, follow us on Twitter for occasional drama. Follow us on Discord. That's the heart and soul of our community. Jump into our Discord. That's where we do everything. We have all kinds of conversations always happening here on Discord. Don't want you to miss out. So yeah, if you want to be part of the community, definitely jump into our Discord and go to our YouTube. YouTube is where our VODs live. If you're looking for VODs here, past stuff, you won't find them. Most of them. I won't find them at all exist on YouTube. So go to our YouTube, subscribe, like, and comment. And it'll be a big help to us, and you'll appreciate it because you get to see all of our back catalog. There's a lot of good stuff there. Okay. One more thing. After the reverie, we're gonna have like a very important channel announcement, very important channel update. It's gonna be happening after the reverie, so stick around for that. We'll always have more content afterwards, but yeah, we'll have a very, very important channel update. So please stick around for that part. All right. Let's go to the next topic. A recent editorial from NBC News equates QAnon followers to opioid addicts. It claims that QAnon gives people constant hits of extreme emotions, which they get addicted to. Is this a better lens to view this conspiracy movement? Could we actually design public policy that would address this problem by using this lens? What does this mean on the political stage? Or are we just pathologizing and infantilizing QAnon followers in an unhelpful manner? So yeah, I saw this article, and I thought, I mean, it seemed useful. I mean, like as I was reading it, I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, saying that these QAnon people are like they're like constantly like raging out on what's happening in the world, right? Thinking that shadows are everywhere, right? The shadows are moving out to get them, and that there is some sort of pleasure also from like solving like the mysteries, right? So like they think there's like all these mysteries happening because there's like that shadowy organizations, and so like they're exposing them, and it's like I feel so smart when I do it, you know. So there's lots of things that go on, and I could see the idea of us of them getting addicted to something like this, but like is that actually useful for us in any other manner? Like is it just a fun thought process, right? A thought experiment to look at it that way, or is this something a useful perspective for doing really anything with QAnon? All right, so we'll get the perspective of our amazing guest. Start with Alice after all.
I'm gonna get water.
Oh man, see, I muted myself in multiple places. I always do that. This is the one that I actually thought was kind of cool because I did some research into this. So first off, Calliopean Club, I'm gonna sim for it again. I've interviewed somebody about this topic actually. I've actually interviewed somebody who does research into this exact type of topic, about why people become radicalized and why people fall for this type of shit, essentially. So I have some articles that I can send you in chat to our friendly neighborhood chat over there, who's going to doubt everything I'm about to say. But essentially, people fall for conspiracy theories via like psychological effects. People are not as smart as you think they are, and people are not as dumb as you think they are. Essentially, these people that fall for conspiracy theories, they're not idiots. They're just falling for some really, really common like psychological tricks. First off, people think that they know what a pattern actually is when they see just a small section of it. And then people tend to essentially, instead of seeing randomness and things that are random, they tend to see what they think is a predefined phenomenon. They think, if I got a coin flip 7 times in a row, that must mean it was predetermined or something of that nature. I'll get a heads again or whatever. People make up these effects that don't actually exist. And the point of mentioning all of these things is that just essentially people are human, and people fall for conspiracy theories because they are human, because they fall for these simple psychological tricks. The other side of this coin, though, is that why do they keep going down this path, right? Why do they fall for this conspiracy theory shit and then keep falling for it? And the answer to that is a little bit of the dopamine hit that you do get, right? And then also the fact that all of the media that we have, all the Facebook and YouTube and such, they literally monetize this radicalization and this conspiracy theory shit. They literally get money if they show people who are into conspiracy theories more fucking conspiracy theories. So it's literally just a self-perpetuating cycle. Humans we're not built to question these things. Once we make this assumption and this connection, we don't question it. And when we're not challenged, which we're not now because social media just wants to keep feeding us our dopamine hits, then we'll never challenge it. And that's essentially the reason for this effect. So is it infantilizing? No, people are just fucking human. And people fall for this shit because that's how our brains work. Our brains love to think that there's a pattern. And that's really that's what this is. Conspiracy theories are just us seeing a pattern where there is not one. And the fact that we have trouble questioning our own thinking in the best of circumstances, but when we're just fed more and more and more information that we think is backing up our incorrect thoughts here, it's just gonna essentially self-perpetuate. So it's a big fucking cycle. And it's not really the people who believe in conspiracy theories' fault so much as it is a big kind of system that's going on here. Lots of stuff there.
Okie dokie. All right. Chud Logic.
I'm going to start with a quote. This is a quote from Aldous Huxley. I'm going to read it out. The surest way to work up a crusade in favour of some good cause is to promise people they will have a chance of maltreating someone, to be able to destroy with good conscience, to be able to behave badly and call your bad behaviour righteous indignation. This is the height of psychological luxury, the most delicious of moral treats. So how does that apply here? So I think that people that are involved in cults, in QAnon, etc., they are victims of propaganda and victims of their circumstances. Whilst they cause harm, I think that we ought to just be considerate of the fact that they're not inherently bad people. And I don't necessarily have the answers for how we go about solving some of these issues. Infantilizing is a problem. If you start to treat them like drug addicts, is that going to push them further down the rabbit hole? I don't have all the answers. But one thing I do know is that we ought to approach this with compassion, with sensitivity, and always recognizing the inherent humanity in other people. And that's it.
Wow. Pretty base take from
Counterpoints.
QAnon is CIA disinformation to distract you from the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was caught basically selling underage prostitutes to some of the world's most powerful people. This includes Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton, probably Donald Trump, and quite a few others. So even if it's not specifically corroborated that they had sex with underage prostitutes, chances are that there were people who actually did have sex with underage prostitutes, and this was used as political leverage both for money and clout. So basically what I would say is, if we're going to talk about Q and conspiracy theory and all that kind of shit, part of the reason why it's so powerful is because just like every conspiracy theory, there's a kernel of truth to it. So I'm not so much interested in basically calling the dumb fucks. That's true. What I would actually be curious with people exploring is the actual parts of this that are factual, the parts that are corroboratable, not just by me, random twitch.tv dumbfuck, but by common news sources. And I can see all the eyebrows going up because basically they're like, holy shit, is this guy Q? No, I'm not Q. But basically, I would like to get into why this conspiracy theory specifically that the elite have sex with and possibly murder underage children. While that's probably not true, the truth is that rich and powerful people probably do have sex with underage prostitutes in order to gain leverage over each other. Probably is true, and that's what lends itself credence to this conspiracy theory.
Captain A. Jones.
Okay, wow. Before Connor just went completely off the rails right there, I have to hand it to you though, buddy. Like that
I
was
promise.
brave. That was brave. As a former conspiracy theorist, I felt every single one of the things that you just said. And I have to agree with Chud. I do want to come at this from a place of compassion. Because I used to be a conspiracy theorist, so it'd be a little hypocritical of me to be like, well, you can't change. I used to have some fucking atrocious views, horrible takes. You think I have dog shit takes now? Oh, buddy, you would have hated me back then. Like
being a racist.
Like, there you go. Well, like,
I'm saying you're not really.
Yeah, it's fine. But like, I would also like to say
What happened to
that,
Socrates?
yes, all those things are 100% true. As somebody who was a conspiracy theorist, like you get literal fucking jitters when people when you think you know something that other people don't. Anyway, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, a chatter has asked me to tell you, Connor, not to call them child prostitutes because it implies some level of consent. Instead, sex slaves, child sex slaves. I don't think that's fair enough.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry. And also like everyone does that, rich and poor. Unfortunately.
Language police out. Fuck off, language police. Shut the fuck up.
Oh boy. All right. Critically thinking Valoran. Oh, and thank you for the he's doing his dramatic pause. So I have plenty of time to thank Tavit for gifting 2 out 2 and gifts to the channel. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. And we wait for words.
Bro beans.
I mean, I figure since the 2 times that I tried to talk during the last topic, I was just ran over. At least this way, you all know who's owning the mic right now. So whenever y'all want to like start talking about something that requires critical thinking, then I'll jump in. But so far, this has been fucking boring, and the memes have not been there. Your fucking games are weak. The audience is sitting here suffering. They're like, yeah, I mean, like, these are some good points, but make me fucking laugh, right? I'm here to be entertained. What the fuck? I mean, I hear the same fucking ideas for the last fucking year. Entertain me with some fresh memes. That's what the audience is screaming for. That's what y'all need to provide.
Thank you for that deep insight. As always, CTV.
Is this for meme CTV? It's really good to see you. It's been a while, bud.
This is a fresh meme behind me. This is the freshest meme you can have. This is the newest meme.
Literally off the press. It's steaming.
Off the press. It's actually still hot.
I was talking about child sex slaves and how QAnon was partially true 10 seconds ago. What the fuck are we doing?
Actually, you weren't. You were talking about something else, and then you had the language police correct you, and then you just corrected your language.
All right, let's move on. Alice, I love my gay pride fresh out of the oven. Smells nice.
I had to have it, you know.
Let's go to. I was gonna say something before when I edited my mind, right? Because I was gonna say something. I was gonna say that sentence without the pride, and I'm like, no, that's bad. Actually, don't say that.
Like I can't.
Don't do that. I was good at things.
Yeah, so I agree with a lot of what the panel said so far. I think we need to come at this from a place of compassion, like Alice and Chud said, and Cap and everybody. But one thing that I think that is a little deeper than that even, and I think Alice kind of alluded to it a little bit with, saying that people aren't, as smart as they think they are and stuff like that. But I think the people that are the most over the top with this may have actual real like mental issues that we really need to deal with. And I think that that's something that that can really help with that, because a lot of these people, like, the more you try to assuade them to other views, the more they're going to push back, because they're so like deep in their own heads with everything that they just can't, they just can't get what's actually happening. They can't realize what's actually happening. And then I think there's a level that are just like people that are like on the like counterpoints here, like just on the edge of like, some of this stuff is true, but we don't know exactly what, but hey, like, that's fine. But we do need to see what is actually happening with some of these things, because obviously, like Counterpoint said, there is some kernels of truth in all this stuff. To what extent it is, that's what we might want to find out. But we really need to treat some of the more like over the top radical people with very carefully, because these are the kind of people that you can very easily push over the edge, and that's not what we want to do. We want to bring these people back from the edge. We want to bring them back into the actual reality of society here, and actually get them thinking like, hey, maybe this isn't the most logical or reasonable ideas to have, and I just think that if we can approach that way, through mental health, or getting people just people to talk to outside of these like echo chambers of conspiracy, I think that might be something we could do too. But yeah, like you guys all said, compassion's key here. Just give these people the help that they need.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Conspiracies in the United States have not been new. They have been around since the conception of the American government. Famous people like Thomas Jefferson, for his time, was a conspiracy theorist with all his views on the Illuminati and whatnot. And then we have other people who have been in power, even also like Abraham Lincoln had a like really into the conspiracy theories too. But we have to think to that time, and it still exists. However, as we go to now in this world age of information, like, we have to consider how these conspiracy theories back then were not as dangerous to the ones now. Whenever you have people who believe that the worst is nigh, and they have to do something, or they will take over the world, or they already took over the world when they take it back, and it and a lot of the ways I think that we could only effectively get them out of this mindset or beliefs that are considered to be harmful for many of the people around them is do what have deep cult deprogramming have done for many years. Not the old style. We're not doing kidnapping people, but try to do it through compassion and thought provoking, and at least try to get them to get to your position with in a way that be will be putting to your position and understanding where they will end up coming to the conclusion than to forcing them to be that to forcing them to believe that. And and a lot of that we can do is through simply maybe not bringing it up in the news that much, or to at least try to not say to these people, "Oh, you're crazy," or other forms of demonization. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Socrates.
Capitan, mon Capitan. It's funny because I'm just rewatching Breaking Bad. It's got the same guy as John Delancey. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pitfalls here, right? Because absolutely, like a kind of medicalizing, patronizing, like, oh, these poor people, whatever. You're kind of glossing over the real, like the real meaning authentic issues that both a lot of these people are having specifically, even though I think a lot of them are like middle class, whatever. A lot of them maybe have gone through like bad divorces, losing homes, whatever. In addition to mental health issues, you're glossing over a lot of the real uh, world problems that we're having. So, I mean, we are living on a planet that's heating up, and on its current course will become uninhabitable. Scary stuff going on. There's a lot of like extremism and war. We feel like we've kind of lost control over our political process. So it's maybe spiraling out of control, and it's deadlocked all at the same time. This is what people are kind of feeling. So people feel very powerless. They feel like the world around them is manipulated, and a lot of these things are true, and they're looking for some narrative where they can be warriors in the struggle rather than the civilians in disaster movies who are just having buildings fall on them and tanks crash at them and whatever. They want to be the ones at least driving the tanks, holding the guns. So I think you could blame the fact that the solutions that people put forward aren't kind of authentic. So for global climate change, global warming, even democratic politicians who are ostensibly believe
Rubber
in
Ducky,
it, are for
thank
doing
you for
something
the
about it,
follow.
aren't really doing anything.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Right, and so people live, we all live in this kind of world.
Hope you're
in
doing
which,
well.
there are big problems, but they're not really being addressed as big problems, right? So we just pulled out of Afghanistan. We were there for 20 years.
I was not expecting this
Afghanistan War,
guy
the
to
Iraq
have this
War,
take.
We didn't live as if we were in war. During World War II, people were asked to give up buying products with aluminum or whatever because we needed
How's
that
it
for the war
going?
effort. This was like a war
Staying out of
without a
trouble?
war that we've grown up. I mean, 2/3 of my life, people who are serving there who were born after 9/11 happened. So there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. It's understandable why people are falling for these right-wing conspiracies.
Good. That's good that you're doing well.
Lots of us are falling for these left-wing
I'm always glad to hear
conspiracies
that.
and, getting wrapped up in Marx and all these ideologies.
We're
right?
supposed to be
People are
talking
getting
about
kind of
Q,
ideological
so
in a
we'll see
certain
how this
way.
conversation goes.
So my guess is that it's funny. Prime subconsciously, I think you found something that's actually linked about these when you put these two topics together. That really praxis is what kind of frees us from all of this, right? Because doing something in the real world.
You gotta do stuff in the real world. You can't do stuff in the fake world.
Is something that allows people to build a community and feel like you're making a difference. And clearly, there's people who felt strongly that they needed to do something in the real world that was like, let's storm the Capitol, right? And people don't have other options. Some people will end up in these really, really extreme places. So some kind of community projects that people can work in, none of that really exists. And so it's understandable how people end up here.
Okay, open to the panel.
All right, so the reality from the start of all of this is that you say, Socrates, right, that there's a problem that we may be losing control of our government, and that somehow all of you
17th
fucking idiots
Amendment.
in the room advocating for socialism think the very thing that you need to do, right, is give the government more motherfucking control. If you're already losing control of it, why give it fucking more? Why not let private charity fucking do that? And at least that way you'll be able to get it at the ground fucking level instead of having to go through all of these other fucking processes and corruption to get there. But no, y'all just sit back on your fucking laurels and watch Assange's fucking dumbass in $1 million fucking mansion, right? Like, well, let's just make up all kinds of excuses for him, right? That's all I heard the
Wait.
last fucking
You're right,
hour.
you're just
That's all I
saying,
fucking
man.
Who's
heard
made
the last
excuse-
fucking
Who
hour, right?
Well,
And you
who
know
the
what?
fuck's made
You know what?
excuses?
I don't know why the
The
fuck you
audience
think
is
this fucking
yelling
talk
about
just
it,
gonna
just
make me
thinking
stop
CTV.
talking. I don't give a fuck.
CTV's
I
gonna
don't
get-
give a
he's
fuck.
gonna get,
Okay.
He's gonna get muted. It's gonna be funny.
Let CTV finish his
I've
rant.
tasted
Go
this
ahead.
beer.
That's
No,
right.
CTV.
Thank you,
But
Prime.
he's chatting
Now-
shit.
Now, there is no way in almighty fuck that you can be sitting here
Almighty
saying
fuck.
socialism is good. Let's give the government more power, and that we're possibly losing control of our fucking government. None of the shit y'all say makes fucking sense, which is why you sit here for an hour and you get to the end of it and go, well, I didn't learn a fucking thing. Nobody fucking did, right? So from here, when it comes to conspiracy theory, understand that most of these things probably start with a mistrust of the government. So these things definitely move along right and fucking left lines, depending on how it is that you view the fucking world.
Oh.
But at the end of it, if you're actually wanting to get the kind of change that you want, it's not going to come because you gave the government more fucking power. It's going to be because you got your ass up off the couch and you went and did something about it.
So
Okay,
CTV,
you've got-
here's the thing. So just really quickly, and then I'll pass it off. But we talk about power, giving government power, whatever. Here's the thing. I think government
CTV is
should
hilarious.
have a lot more power to create a lot more jobs. I think government should have a lot less power to spy on all of us all of the time and jail American citizens for literally no reason, or for association with extremist forces, right? So it's kind of like blanket, like government should have more power, less power. It's not
Yeah.
really about that. I think the government should do more good things
That's
and
pretty
fewer
funny.
bad things.
How you doing tonight, Big Al?
Okay, so I just want to
Hope
say,
you're
I
doing
mean,
well.
obviously he's fucked
My
off
base
somewhere, so I don't know what the fuck's that about. But anyway, listen, here's the
He can
fucking
hear you.
situation, okay? Socialism isn't fucking when the government does stuff, okay? It's about who controls the government and who operates the government, okay? But anyway, forget that shit. I'm not interested in fucking getting that stupid conversation, okay? There's some truth in what he's saying in that fucking unhinged, absurd rant, and that is that, yes, these people have been let down by society, okay? You don't get to believe that fucking Joe Biden is raping demons or whatever the fuck it is these people believe without having something terrible happen to you that leads you to these positions, okay? And people point to it and they go, oh, but they got a bit of money here, but doesn't fucking matter, okay? Doesn't fucking matter. The reality is these people have been let back down by society.
Oh, how'd that
guess
go? What
It's
was the
society's
topic you were debating?
responsibility to do things to correct this and to fix it. So that's the fucking real deal. There we go.
Is it
No,
vaccines
like,
or?
I was sorry, really quickly. I was told by Dr. Richard Wolff that socialism is when the government does things, and the more it does things, the more socialist it is, and when it does a whole lot of things, that's communism. So basically, Chud Logic, you're full of fucking shit. I'm literally citing the leftist academic
okay.
authority
That was
on socialism.
that was that was a meme though, right? That was a meme.
Professor.
But that was a meme, okay? Obviously.
No.
So CTV was
It's real. You can't convince me otherwise. It's a conspiracy. You're trying to hide the truth. That's what you're doing.
True. Fucking true.
Damn.
John Delancey. Okay, now I just got it. Okay, because
Q.
it's Q. He's Q. Okay, I got it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
When I put this background on, Captain Jones over there just starts breaking down. I'm like,
Yeah.
That was so good.
someone
It was.
got
It was
so
great.
fucking
I
good.
I do love Delaney. He's amazing.
So I'm gonna try to drag this back around to the original topic because it's
Q from Star Trek, right?
Exactly.
Yes, the original
So-
topic. Yeah. Q.
So now that all of Star Wars is out, we can definitively say Star Trek is better than Star Wars.
Agreed.
Anyway,
Shots fired.
so CTV, I hate that CTV's not here when I'm saying this, but
He
whatever.
can still hear you. He has
He can
wireless
hear you. He can
headphones.
hear
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So CTV was almost correct. He said that it was that things start off with a mistrust of government, but then this is just anecdotally from my own personal experience and like experience being in conspiracy circles. This starts off with a distrust of authority, which starts off usually with your parents, which starts off usually, or like the family around you, or the people, just the people around you. It doesn't have to be parents. A lot of people don't have parents, so so I kind of want to bring it back. Like, yeah, Chud's totally right. This is like, not only has society failed,
No,
them,
you don't
but
get
like
to
the people
somehow
are,
psychoanalyze me and then think that that's going to
I'm-
justify
Bro,
your point,
shut the
right?
fuck
we're
up.
not.
No,
Let-
bro, shut the fuck up, right? You don't get to psychoanalyze me to somehow justify your fucking point.
He's
Yeah,
hiding
I-
something.
They do start
Okay.
with mistrust, and it doesn't have to come from parents. That can come from a lot of different things. But I don't know. Is there a fucking issue out there in the world that might have
Yeah,
the majority of fucking Americans have a mistrust of government? Yeah, it's called the fucking drug war, you fucking dumbass.
Always
Oh, wow.
have to bring it back to the
Okay.
drug
History.
war.
Captain
Thanks, Reagan.
A. Jones.
so a little leftist monthly called the Ram. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. So like, I wasn't psychoanalyzing you. I was actually psychoanalyzing myself. Anyway,
Always to the
I was
drug
trying to
war.
be
I want to
sympathetic
see if you can
towards,
sneak in the 17th Amendment too
like
tonight.
what Chad was saying.
He's
Like,
got
people
one.
these people have been really let down, and like what somebody said, I can't remember. Somebody said like, there needs to be like, or there should be rather, outreach programs where like, and when they said that, I immediately started imagining people like maybe myself who have been conspiracy theorist minded, go out and like try to rationalize and talk with these people and just have an open dialogue, to be able to reel them in. And anyway, that just had me thinking, just like, hey, wait, I'm a person like that. What? I don't know why that just dawned on me. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I think it would be hilarious. Just a quick meme, like the way that this would come about is like you would get a knock at your door. It's like, hey, we've been reading your internet activity. It seems like you might be going down a QAnon pathway. We've assigned a social worker to assist you in your transition.
To evaluate you.
Living quarters for you in the Lugog part of town.
I'm so excited because
Covering up the truth.
I can simp for Calliopean Club, like in a relevant sense, not just simping. So that's literally what Calliopean Club was meant to do. Like that was the original goal of the person who created Calliopean Club, Eris. She actually had
Tell
run
them what it
into
is. No one knows what that is.
yeah. Calliopean
I
Club
was
was a
Calliopean
Discord.
Club champion one
Oh
time.
wow,
On a
Socrates,
debate.
nice. That's
Yeah.
actually pretty impressive. So Calliopean Club is a Discord server, and it's a politics debate kind of focus server in some ways. But anyway, it was originally created to actually de-radicalize Holocaust deniers. And
I
it's kind of one
definitely
of
would
our primary goals. Is like
appreciate
the reason
Redneck
one
a
of the
little
things we
more
focus on
than
is we focus on the principle
CTV,
of
but
charity.
that's
And
okay.
like essentially good faith discussions and debates. So yeah, we ban the trolls, right? We ban the people who just come in to
Is he just
shout
busy, or
about
did
the
he get
Jews or
banned,
whatever.
or is he just
But we
not
do
around right
actually
now?
engage with the people who are just essentially the people who fall into this conspiracy theory kind of hole. We actually engage with those people. Like we have a community of like a lot of people who are actually kind of in some ways passionate about that. You know, we're a little left leaning, but we do have right wing people who also kind of fight back against conspiracy. You know, the really insane conspiracy theories. You know, definitely hearing CTV here. Yeah, obviously some of these conspiracy theorists come from a mistrust in government, but some of them also just fall down this pathway. They fall down this kind of like radicalization pathway that social media creates. So yeah, there's ways to fight back against that in a kind of a positive way. I mean, I'm just giving one example, but there's ways to do that, and there are places doing that. You know, that definitely can help. I've personally have talked to people who went from literally talking about, you know, pretty intense stuff and ended up actually kind of talking to them over literally weeks or months and getting them to a point where they're kind of engaging in a normal way again, instead of talking about how, you know, the Jews are out there running all the, you know, all the banks and everything. It's the Irish running the banks.
Yeah, but the reality of what you're saying here is that the individual ends up having this moment of mistrust, whether it's them thinking that the government should be doing a thing that they are not doing, right? And then rather than you don't quit shaking your head, you haven't even heard what I said,
Well,
right?
yeah, I disagree
No, no,
fundamentally with you
I
about
know you
Oh
the
just
wait, a
you just
government
family
part.
member with
disagree
health
rather than just hearing the
complications.
reasoning,
No,
That's
right?
not
I've already
good.
heard you rant.
That's what
The
you're doing.
government part, I don't agree with the
It-
government part. Conspiracy
I
theorists
get
don't
that you. I
distrust the
just
government.
listened to you. I
I
just
thought you said-
listened. Was I not
thought you-
listening?
I thought
I
you don't
was
want to be
listening,
psychoanalyzed,
right?
man.
Go on.
Right? I
Go
was
on,
just
CTV.
listening. Right.
Go on.
Okay. So, at some point, whether it was them thinking that the government should be doing a thing, or maybe they were mistreated by the government by way of the drug war or policies from the past, or whatever the justification is, that's what the mistrust between the individual and the government, when that starts, that's going to be the catalyst that carries them through to this line of conspiracy, because they will be more susceptible to believe whatever it is that they hear, because there's already a mistrust of the government.
No,
Right?
it's not
So-
about government. That's the thing, is that you're making this assumption about some sort of mistrust in the government. There are people who do
What
go down that
conspiracies are we
pathway.
currently talking about?
So you're only talking about QAnon, but I'm talking about conspiracy theorists
Well,
in
then
general.
what other fucking conspiracies are we talking about? Are we bringing up like worldwide, like
We just
unsolved
fucking
mysteries and
said.
shit?
I just said multiple
I just said.
conspiracy.
It seems
Yeah,
like CTV are psychoanalyzing her as you said. To kind of, like, you don't want to be psychoanalyzed.
Nobody's psychoanalyzing anybody.
The fuck are you talking about, Dan? You've been making sense all night.
Go ahead. I will go with counterpoints and then captaining.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so I think
Jesus
I
Christ.
think a key part of de-radicalization work that oftentimes people don't want to do is actually understanding the perspectives from the people's views. If you come at a Holocaust denier and you're just like, hey, you're a piece of shit, you shouldn't be talking about this fucking subject, the historical record is clear, you know, you're just a fucking asshole, then they're gonna be like, oh, well, this is a person who hasn't bothered to check out the information. This is actually part of the reason why I haven't researched Holocaust denial, because I literally started pulling the thread on it and I was like, holy fucking shit, I would literally have to read it 10,000 page fucking thesis paper just to understand the cumulative evidence that like supports the official narrative around Holocaust denial. I don't have time for this shit, right? Which basically means that it's left up to people who have done that. And God bless them, right? But what I'm really saying here is that if you want to go after conspiracy theorists, if you want to go after people who have like really nefarious ideologies and all that kind of stuff, you have to understand the nefarious ideology from the internal perspective. I think there's a lot like, so for instance, when I first started engaging with leftist circles, I literally thought socialism was when the government does things and communism was when the government does a lot of things. Clearly, you're not going to be taken seriously in left-wing spaces if that's your conception of socialism and communism. Same thing with like differentiation between libertarian socialism and authoritarian communism. Like these people are fucking oil and water. So if you pretend that they're the same people, then obviously you're not going to get very far. It's the same thing with like fascists. They have a very esoteric political philosophy that needs to be understood in order to argue with them on their terms. And then I would say the same thing. Part of the reason why I brought up like the actual, I could back up everything I said in the intro. But part of the reason why I brought up those facts is because if you want to dismantle the QAnon theory, then you basically have to acknowledge what is factual, because they're bringing a whole bunch of facts together and then building a narrative on top of it. So you have to acknowledge the facts that are real and then dismantle the overarching structure. There are real problems with wealth and power and sex and youth. There are real problems with people getting abused and enslaved. So you have to concede those parts of the reality in order to start maybe convincing them that Hillary Clinton and Obama and Joseph Biden didn't actually do like a ritualistic satanic ceremony where they like ate children or some shit. So that's where you have to figure out what's real in order to fight what's bullshit that's built on top of what's real.
Yeah. Can I go next?
No, Captain A. Jones, Socrates, and Dan.
So I think what Alice was trying to say was that why isn't QAnon just another conspiracy theory? She was saying, like, she was comparing the conspiracy theory to QAnon. Like, it doesn't really matter like what the conspiracy theory is if it's unfounded with scant evidence or evidence based off a 4chan post or some shit like that. Then like, then well, then it's shit. It's a conspiracy theory. So I mean, I guess the main point, I don't know what point I really wanted to make. I really just wanted to clarify that. But then Connor went off on a huge tangent on again to just like throw me off. I'm thinking like, what the fuck?
You can ask if you
what
want,
were you
baby.
really implying? Because like, Connor, you seem to be implying a lot, and I would like to actually get into some nitty gritty here with this conspiracy theory, like, because I don't see why QAnon is not just another fucking conspiracy theory. Like, if you're saying that, and just to clarify, I guess what I've heard so far, if you're saying that like that that there's like that the elites, I'm not sure who that is, but the elites are doing child pedophilia. I guess it's not, and this is a pretty dark retort, but like, yo, rich and poor people, elite and non-elite, do horrible, disgusting things.
Sure.
And like, so what you're saying is that there's a few people maybe in our government who are, anyway, now I'll let you.
Yeah, sure. So basically, the whole crux of this narrative. So what I was saying is that there is truth, or at least some level of truth, that basically some rich elite people have run in circles in which they've engaged in prostitution with prostitutes that were as young as like 15 or 16. The evidence for this is Richard Epstein. Is it Jeffrey Epstein? Excuse me. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was basically somebody who was convicted of trafficking young girls, sex slaves, for the one person in chat who wants the verbal distinction. And Jeffrey Epstein was basically known for throwing a whole bunch of parties through the 90s and the thousands. These parties were wild, crazy, definitely involved prostitution, definitely involved drugs. And on top of that, Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend, was the person who helped facilitate some of the recruitment and the sexual abuse of underage folks. This is all public record. This is all legal record. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of this, I believe, in the mid to late thousands, and through a deal with the state attorney's office, he was basically, I think he was he wasn't even incarcerated. He basically spent like 3 years in the Palm Beach County Jail, and he was allowed to spend his entire week at his office doing work. He was literally on work release for like 60 hours a week. It was a sweet deal that he basically helped negotiate. I don't know if Alan Dershowitz was his lawyer, but basically he negotiated this sweet deal with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, and as a result, he suffered almost no consequences for running an underage prostitution ring with very powerful people. When it comes to the powerful people that participated in this, we actually don't have any evidence specifically implicating like Bill Clinton or Donald Trump, like physical evidence, but we do have corroborative evidence. So, for instance, Donald Trump was accused of being at one of these parties during the 1990s and raping a 13-year-old prostitute. This case was ultimately dropped on procedural grounds where it was like improperly filed, but there's no way of knowing whether or not the allegations are actually true. And on top of that, you can actually find video evidence of Donald Trump admitting that he likes to party with Jeffrey Epstein, and some of Jeffrey Epstein's girls are a little bit on the younger side. He's literally saying this right to a fucking camera. So that's part of the corroboration for Donald Trump. And listen, if you're a billionaire and you're not doing crazy shit with like cocaine and prostitutes, I don't know why you're a billionaire, right? But obviously, pedophilia is probably the fucking line that we should be drawing here, right? So when it comes to Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton was spotted by a staffer on Epstein's island, basically hanging out with young women. Whether or not these people had sex, basically the witnesses never said. And on top of that, the prostitutes have not come forward. My theory would be that like
let's just do sex slaves.
All right, these sex slaves. What I would assume is the majority of these sex slaves
The grammar police are back. The language police are back.
Joe Biden or fucking Hillary Clinton or some shit. Chances are, what happened was they said, "Hey, if you shut your fucking mouth, we'll give you 500 grand," and you basically don't want to cross the people that you had sex with. That's probably so they were probably threatened with violence and also paid off to shut up. And this implicates a lot of really rich and powerful people. And Ghislaine Maxwell is currently in prison, and we haven't heard a fucking lick about her case right now, despite facilitating one of the most notorious underage sex trafficking rings in political history. Probably because if she started talking about who actually participated in these sex acts, it would implicate a lot of people. So
I have a quick question for Connor.
Sure.
Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein?
He's got all right rants. We need some drug war in here. No, we need the 17th Amendment first. I got to get my my CTV bingo card. He got his bingo card.
An officer and
I can repeat
a lot of
that.
the
Your
correct.
mic is
Yeah, your mic is cutting in and out. Try it again. You were unfortunately you were a law enforcement officer.
I mean that's the CIA. They're trying to prevent the real story from getting out. Okay, so basically, no, I don't think he was murdered. All of the incompetence that was like related to Jeffrey Epstein committing suicide or whatever, where like the prison guards didn't check on him and there's no CCTV footage. Unfortunately, I've worked in the law enforcement system long enough to know that it's probably incompetence and not, intentionality that killed him.
So,
but
okay, if I could,
if there was new evidence, I wouldn't care.
Sorry, I do have to get to Socrates. Has been waiting quite patiently.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a departure from the actual content of the conspiracy theories, but talking a little bit back to kind of like what it might be that kind of drives people, and it's interesting looking at we're talking about the incentives of like a Twitch streamer as you make these radical statements to try to build up, and then over time it softens when you can't keep it up, whatever, when you become kind of more embedded in the community. It's interesting that it feels like there's kind of the same incentive structure at an individual level for online. So let's say you join a Discord, whatever. So you're some presumably lonely person, maybe who lives with your parents, maybe you're a student, whatever. In the real world, and so you're on Discord a lot. You go to a new Discord, you want to talk to people. What is the incentive structure like? If you come up and you say, go into a channel, you say, hi, whatever, I'm here from whatever, I'm doing this major. Maybe people talk to you, maybe you don't. But if you open with, by the
way, a little bit, he does sound like he's a little bit
9/11 using pizza from the moon.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is the only thing that's round in the universe. Then you get a lot of attention, and people will talk to you, and people will keep talking to you and probing you intensely. And it's really sad that this is the place that lots and lots of people have ended up in, where that kind of incentive structure is powerful enough. My guess would be that this pushes a lot of people toward whether or not they like believe these things, they'll like role play believing in these things, as long as it's getting them attention. And you know, if that's the thing that you do, so if you're the flat earther and everybody wants to talk to you, and you stop believing in flat Earth, and suddenly nobody wants to talk to you, I would imagine that feels pretty rough, and that's, I don't know, that's sad, and I wish things were different.
Okay. Alright, let's go to oh, there's Dan who wanted to say something, and then Captain A. Jones, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I do, as I do think that Connor points did mention about Jeffrey Epstein. He does, ironically, has a point here to that, and there is some great truth to a little bit of anything to a conspiracy theory, and should be looked at for sure. But we have, at least to say, believe everyone here has the critical thinking skills to know what is reasonable and not reasonable to an investigation. And well, and like we have looked at other figures throughout, I mean, the American history, and see like weird conspiracy theories like JFK assassination, inside job. Was it Alan Dulles who killed him,
That's
or
not very nice, Miguel.
whatever, or to that guy who got buried in that?
Oh yeah, well, there's like nobody in chat really,
But
so it's just you.
we have to be very critical to
I want a Big Mac.
factual
Don't be
knowledge
starting
and
about talking
know
about
that
food. I'm hungry.
much of the things that surround it
Might have to go upstairs
is
and have some hummus
very
after this is
much
over.
nonsensical to those we
I
are,
love me some hummus.
as we're always saying that harvesting children for their adrenochronium, adrenochronium, or what they call it.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, adrenochrome too. As I think that's a bit too much out there, but
Just a
like,
bit. Just a
some
bit too much
are
out there.
are in trials to get something else, but which people should at least have a knowledge to know to go through the critical thinking process and investigation to do so. That's it.
I do. So, what did Captain A. Jones? I actually do want to like get to other parts of this question, right? Like I wanted to talk about like what public policy, if we're looking at this through an opioid addicted lens, right? If we're looking at it through the lens of addiction, then like how can we actually use that to form public policy? Like, is that a useful lens? Like, are we just talking about this on the internet? Is nothing that actually could be done with this?
I don't.
Yeah. So, but we'll go to Captain A. Jones first, and if anyone else wants to jump on that, and okay, Connor.
Yeah, geez,
Dude.
I don't think so, because I think if the government gets involved in something like this, that's kind of it's a weird slippery slope. I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with. Um, I'm not
What
sure
exactly are you not comfortable with, though? Like, you're saying government get involved in what?
in
doing
what exactly. I guess that would be my question to you: is in what? Like, what would what kind of policy or legislation could the government enact that could deal with conspiracy theories?
So
I have no
moving
idea.
away from, hold on. We're moving away from conspiracy theories for just 1 second, right?
I don't know if
And
he
we gotta go
changed
to
his clothes.
sorry, counter, and then we'll go to
Yeah,
Chuck.
yeah.
Maybe he
I'll-
has all the same clothes. Just
Sure,
a whole
sure.
closet full of blue.
But moving
blue
away
shirts
from conspiracy
and,
theories for just 1 second, do you think
zip
the
ups.
government should be involved in de-radicalizing extremists of any kind, right? So, for instance, extremists who like, do you think that government should just leave it all up to private citizens to like stop the spread of like white nationalism or Islamic terror or any of that stuff?
No, absolutely not. I think that there's definitely a line somewhere. Like, if you have an organization that like a white
Yeah, I thought that
nationalist
too.
organization, for instance, that needs to have
Definitely,
FBI people
crossed my mind.
involved and like fucking people going in and
What about black
and
nationalists? That too?
sure, that's a
CTV.
problem.
That's not de-radicalizing, so that's only like, like
See, and
I'm just making sure he's philosophically consistent. That's all.
sure, we know
Yeah.
CTV. Like, I'm just not sure.
Well, what about Hispanic nationalists,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Or Asian
No,
nationalists?
I'm actually for that because I happen to be Hispanic, so I would be for that in my
that
Oh,
own
makes
so,
sense.
self-interest.
so rules for thee, not for. I got it.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
got it.
joking. It's a joke.
I got it.
Give America back to the Spanish.
Yeah, nationalism's pretty
Yeah.
cringe.
Yeah.
Texas belongs to Mexico, right? Give it
That
back.
Yeah.
Cal, hey,
or the Native Americans before them that the Spanish slaughtered.
I mean,
Right?
that would be the
Native
group I'd
Mexican.
be a part of, right? I think all y'all need to get the fuck off my land, but whatever.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So are you done, Captain A. Jones? Then we're gonna go to Connor and Chud.
So I know that you want to move this towards that, and I wanted to try to pin down Connor on the things that he just said, because he said a whole hell of a lot of things that had a
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. And then we'll go to Chud.
Sure. I just real quick. I don't want to start a back and forth between me and Connor, because I don't think that's productive. But like,
Yeah, a little bit.
most of the things he said
Pretty much.
are like what ifs, and this might
Ugh.
be this. And like, if you're telling me that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump are creeps, oh wow, you're not gonna have me thinking anything other than that shit. I thought that before. You're not bringing any new information to me. Like, that sounds about right. Fuck. Like, but I'm just fucking saying this whole fucking conspiracy about, like, multiple congressmen or something like that. You were alluding to this being a lot bigger, and so far all I've actually heard in terms of names were Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. And honestly, I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, they're creeps.
Yeah.
Okay. So no. Counterpoints in chat.
Yeah, and I'll address the point that's on topic too. Yeah, the reason why you don't hear me making a lot of positive assertions about who it is or being very specific is because we don't have the evidence. We just don't. As a matter of fact, all of the evidence that I cited, a lot of it is speculative. A lot of it is potentially explainable through happenstance or coincidence or political funding and all that kind of stuff. A lot of it is smoke. The problem is that, like, I'm not saying like every time there's smoke there's fire, but the problem that like nobody really wants to poke around in this shit kind of tells me there's probably more to the story than we want to give it credence to. Because basically, like, this is an important story. There was a person who was running an underage prostitution ring that implicates a lot of the most powerful people in the world. And there's photographic evidence, there's video evidence, there's all sorts of things that actually like helps corroborate this narrative. And the fact that we, the people, are not powerful enough to poke into the story, and the people who are powerful enough to poke into the story don't seem interested, and that's scary, to be honest. But anyways,
I don't think anybody ate. I think the only person that
basically,
ate
like, I'm okay with like de-radicalization
was
programs for the government.
was
The
Connor.
only
He said
thing
he had
would
a
be,
hot dog, and then
basically
he
it
thought
would
he
be
had was
voluntary,
having a heart attack, was just
and
heartburn.
that's
You
like
missed that, but I
educating
don't know if he actually ate it on the
basically, like,
panel,
hey, are you
or
a
if he ate it
QAnon?
before
You
the
wanna hear
panel.
why
But
this
that was
life
pretty
is
funny.
correct? Then go ahead and go to this website. We've actually compiled a whole hit.
He's
list
like,
of
"Shit, I have
resources for
technical issues," but then he's like,
counterfactual
"No, I
information that
really
might
just had
basically
a
help you out." And then
heartburn."
also tell family members. Do you have somebody who's like a QAnon, who basically you're having difficulty communicating with them? We've actually compiled all the resources that help debunk this conspiracy theory with factual information. I think that would be perfectly acceptable. Sorry,
But is
almost done.
QAnon partly true? But if it's partly true, then
Yeah.
why would the government be saying that it's false? What
The-
parts are false? What
the
does the government
Satanism
say is
part.
false?
The Satanism, eating children, and probably harvesting adrenochrome is probably false.
Yeah, there's a subset of QAnon beliefs we probably can say, well, that's fucking insane.
And I
But
just
that's all the
wanna point
cool
out
stuff,
again-
though.
I want to point out again, though, that you said there's many people implicated, and you haven't said anybody other than Trump or Clinton.
George
Okay.
Bush,
Alan
we can-
Dershowitz.
Alan
is
Dershowitz.
one of-
Okay, yeah, that's a creep.
Oh,
George
okay,
Bush
yeah.
also creep.
Chud.
I don't know about the Bushes or whatever. But basically, and here's the other thing is, like, it doesn't really matter how far this goes. For instance, Jeffrey Epstein is indisputed, regardless of whether or not there were prostitutes involved. Indisputed, one of the largest party places in New York in the 1990s. There are basically, he would pay every A-list celebrity who existed during the early 1990s to come party with him. And there are photos of all of these people high and drunk out of their fucking minds with Jeffrey Epstein. So there's a lot. The reason why you're not hearing me making concrete, like, Leonardo DiCaprio was having sex with 13-year-old prostitutes is because we don't fucking know. We don't know. We weren't there. I wasn't there.
Child sex
I'm
slaves,
running in-
jeez.
I'm
Would
running
that be
the
a
social circle.
13-year-old sex slave?
Oh, yeah, we bring Barry out.
Anyways,
The only thing we
Okay,
know.
right, listen,
Can I address
Hold on.
Can I just make my fucking point I've been waiting to make for 10 minutes? Thank you. Right, listen. Here's the problem, okay? Everyone is so fucking worried about like fixing the problem as it exists. It's like a sticky plaster on it, right? Yes, I agree. These people have got issues. How big is QAnon in its totality? You know, we need to bear that in mind. We need to deal with it, okay? But here's the real fucking deal, okay? What we actually need to do is make meaningful
Varies more for just our,
change so
our
that we
friends on
stop
our
creating
Discord, not these
circumstances in
people.
which these fucking conspiracy nuts come out of the fucking woodwork, right? And that's a more difficult fucking thing that you've got to contend with and you've got to deal with. And that's the hard question that no one wants to ask. Now you got the fucking Dems back in control, okay? Now look, I know there's some people in there that are probably like, oh, the Dems are all right, da da da. Yeah, they need to fucking start putting their finger out and meeting the material needs of these people that are fucking desperate, that end up in QAnon. Because if they don't, they're going to continue to perpetuate this fucking problem. And that is the real fucking deal. And that's all I've got to say.
So,
And
so
I-
You
and
came in
wanted-
hard with the
so
good
Chad,
points.
quickly.
So Socrates, I
Okay.
want to address something that you said
Okay,
because I think it
sure,
was really
sure.
important. Basically, I think Chud's right that if you have materially impoverished people who are desperate and clinging to a sense of order, and then you send government agents to their house to say, you believe in a conspiracy theory, would you like to come to the re-education camp? You're going to push these people further down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, because even if that guy goes to like the fucking conspiracy theory re-education camp and he comes out, he's like, oh, it turns out everything I believe was bullshit. You're creating a new conspiracy theory where fucking people are getting brainwashed into no longer believing the conspiracy theory. So no, I think a lot of this has to be like informational, educational, and voluntary.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Can I just point out that you did it again, Connor? You did it again, where you went full blown all the way to government agents coming to your house, which is like the
Socrates said that 10 minutes
oppressive
ago.
Mhm.
Socrates said that
agents
10 minutes
coming to your
ago.
house. Socrates, why would you say that?
So I was
Direct question,
imagining.
Socrates.
So what we
Why
were
would you
talking
fucking
about-
sabotage me like that?
No. So I was saying like the clear thing that we should all agree that's
Yeah,
very
you can
obviously
put them
on
in
his
their
face.
place.
Like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if it's like we tried to stop this by like figuring out through some data analytics who all the QAnoners are, and then sending a social worker to their house? It would be funny how much they would fucking lose it because they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's definitely real now."
Well, see,
Right.
see, you just fucking did it.
Yeah, that would not be good for the social workers.
Sure. Okay. So I was trying to rule something out. It's amazing lack of focus, but it's fine. Okay. So I think Chud makes a really, really good point that obviously the root of a ton of this shit is just the fact that people are fucking floundering. People don't have like maybe any. A lot of these people might not have really any job, or they don't have a job.
They don't have
that they can
direction in their
feel
lives.
Direction. Some kind
We're going
of
to talk
community,
about
all of
roots.
this
It
stuff.
definitely goes back to fucking Britain, right? Because
And Britain.
it's all.
Why you
Britain's
gotta try to
fucking
blame
fault.
everything on
Yeah,
Chud?
So, wait. So just to go back to what I said earlier. So we're here now we're on an internet platform. Forget about the government. We're
Barry's
the people
S tier
who
for
are
sure.
actually directly interacting. Like we are on the Discord servers with. Well, I don't know how many QAnoners specifically. I don't know if it's all like 7-year-old people who watch Fox News versus if it's like kids. But anybody who's like into a conspiracy theory on it, who's a kid, they're probably on a Discord server. We're probably in Discord servers with a lot of these people. As Alice said, this is why Charlie Bean Club was created. I didn't realize that actually. That's really interesting.
Apparently, there's QAnoners in my chat right now.
Yeah, great. So
Not
the question-
surprised.
So first of all, one thing that
I know
that
you're not.
saw
I love
when we looked at
UCTV.
this, so when we have any of these people, who are identified within our community, whatever, one thing that I've seen that bothers me that I think we could all think about how we want to proceed with is how do we relate to this person? How do we interact with them? How do we not make the fact that they believe something crazy into a spectacle, which is really hard because we're on Twitch and the spectacle is the name of the game, right?
So,
But-
like,
Yeah.
I would love to answer that.
Yeah,
I would love to
yeah.
answer that just from anecdotal,
Please,
anecdotal
yeah.
Andy here, because I used to
No,
be.
that's perfect.
I used to and just to give you some cred, I used to believe a 9/11 was an inside job. I used to believe in chemtrails. What else? Shit, fucking
It's
anyway.
so weird. Why did the CIA seize the one tape from that gas station that showed the Pentagon getting hit? Why did
Well,
they seize it like a day later? We never got to see it. It's never been released. I'm sorry.
It's so good. I mean, but I used to be this person, and like when I hear people say like, "Oh, if you're mean to them, then they'll go away." I don't know. You know what? When I was
Just
a
opened up
conspiracy theorist, I
Steam.
lusted to
No,
like literally thrive
I did something
on
else. I don't
arguing
remember what
with
I did.
people.
Yep.
And when they called me an idiot, I was so unfazed. Oh my fucking god! I can't tell you how unfazed I am, or I was, and still am by shit like even if it, and like a lot of this was in person. But some of my best friends used to be the people calling me idiots, and like this was not the thing that got it. First of all, them arguing me wasn't even the thing that got me to not be a conspiracy theorist. Although I think it really helped because when a lot of things happened personally in my life that made it so that I was a conspiracy theorist, when I got to them, like when they when we started talking politics again, they were very what's the word, not charitable, but like nice about it. They welcomed me with open
There
arms,
was a community.
with new opinions. And as my
Yeah.
opinions have evolved and continue to evolve, I mean, like, I don't think I'm anywhere near. I don't think there's ever going to be a final form. There's always going to be a new issue to learn about and become educated about. So, like, that's just my motto. And I guess that's, not to bring it back to the previous topic, but that's why I kind of was a little like pushing back, I guess, on the last topic, just because like I don't know what I would do politically. I'm not sure I have
Problem is
like hardcore
that
political views on much. Like,
if I play games, I'll
I
be
because I haven't
distracted.
finished forming them. As breaking in my voice as that sounded.
So
Dan?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the key thing is to sorry, just very quickly. The key thing is if people believe in conspiracy, the more information that they gather that is going to benefit them. With me, I used to be a 9/11 truther. The thing that opened my eyes was just more information, and that eventually led me to the path where I was like, yeah, this is a lot of bullshit, and it's how do you get that information across to them? People talk about censorship of this stuff. I don't know if that's the right answer. It can just push people further down rabbit holes. So we need to find ways. And also, here's the other problem. Distrust in like the mainstream media is a massive problem, and that leads to this too. And there's lots of problems with the mainstream media we can talk about. So all of these are like systemic issues that are at play, and until we really start to meaningfully fix them, you can have social
No,
workers
but
go and visit
I like at
QAnon. It's
least
great.
to
But
try
if
to
it's
pay
5 years
attention to
time,
what's
you'll have
going
another
on.
fucking conspiracy take hold. Nothing changes. So it's about structural systemic change. That's the key to nipping this, and stopping it going forward. Anyway,
Yeah.
Stop the presses real quick.
Yeah. Now, Jones.
Prime,
you
would you
finish.
take it away?
Yeah. Okay. Just sorry. Just 1 second. Thank you, Citizen Zero, for the for resubbing. And then thank you. It's Hercules for subbing. If you're a Prime Gaming, thank you, Arrakis Network, who giving 1,000 bits and says tell Counterpoints he could have had this money, but no, he had to do monetization. And then thank you, Ambrick, holy crap, for gifting 25 hot tier 1 channels. Unbelievable.
What's up, everybody?
Thank
Hope
you.
you're doing well.
Thank you, Anarchist Music, for the 200 bits.
Don't know how
and I
long
think
this
I
stream's
caught
gonna go,
everyone.
but we're doing
But,
well.
thank you
Just
all
hanging
for
out.
kind support. We have a hype train, level 4 hype train. Can we get to level 5 hype train? If you'd be so kind to sub, donate bits or donate subs, all that
Biddies,
helps
donate
the
the
channel, keeps
biddies.
us strong and investing in us, and gets
Donate me
closer,
biddies.
closer to surpassing Hassan.
Send me some of those biddy
Get a
biddies.
bigger house,
bitty
right?
bitties.
I want all these motherfuckers to be on someone else's panel complaining about me. That's the goal. Sorry. Let's go.
Biggs, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing too is like kind of getting back to like trying to help like the specific people. One thing that I did notice when looking at this topic is a lot of the people that agreed, or at least somewhat agreed, based on some small studies that they did in 2019 or 2019 2020. The majority of the people that were evangelical Christians were some of the most susceptible to these type of views, and I think that has a lot to do with like the whole concept of I don't know how many people on here are religious, but the whole concept of believing something based on faith and not evidence based. Now I don't want to get into religious arguments here, but I do think that has something to do with why these people are so easily swayed by this type of rhetoric and stuff like that. Not only that, but I think a lot of these people have this need to feel like they're fighting evil. They want to put something as being evil, and now that they don't have like anything else to worry about in their lives, because not everybody, but in general, these people that tend to be these QAnoners are like of a higher higher social class, maybe higher income earners, things like that, and they just need to put something as the enemy. They feel like they need to have that. That's how they can get their like self-fulfillment, and things like that. And I think that being these evangelical Christians might have something to do with that. Again, I'm not really here to argue religion, but I think that comes into play quite a bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's incredibly well said. I think people are incredibly tribal. They're always looking for an enemy. They're always looking for an opponent. They're always looking for a challenge. And when they can't find one, they'll create one. So that's super important. And one of the things that somebody was bringing up, it's like we have trust issues with the mainstream media. Well, I mean, like I think the main thing that we need to get back to, it might be a little old fashioned or whatever, but is rooting your fucking perspective in truth. Not that you're always going to know what the truth is, not that you're always going to know what the facts are, but trying to understand the truth. Looking up facts that like counter your narrative, look up facts that support your narrative, and then having them battle out, not just in your mind, but also like with other people and all that kind of stuff.
I love
And
counterpoints.
unfortunately, one of the things
He always tries to back up
you
his
brought
writing
up is
brethren.
that people are incredibly susceptible to what feels emotionally real. Like what, you know, whether or not it's like fact based, what feels good. You know, that's something that people like strive for. They really want it. They want to feel like they have an ordered sense of the universe. And that's actually one of the things that really bugs me about conspiracy theories in general. Is it gives you a nefarious solidity. So basically, some people cannot deal with the fact that the world is chaotic and random and you can't understand everything. And there's a certain element of mystery. I fucking hate that about the world. But conspiracy theories, instead of saying, like, oh, I can't control all the variables, conspiracy theories say the world is understandable. You can know this deep, solid truth. And it's something that only you can understand because you're fucking special and you know better than everybody else. So even though the truth is horrifying, that the elites of this world basically dominate everything and they fucking kill kids in order to harvest their adrenochrome and shit, it gives you a certain level of like solidity in your perspective because you know the truth more than anybody else on the planet. And that kind of that certainty, unfortunately, is incredibly like emotionally appealing to our fucking lizard brains. And the more you learn about the universe, unfortunately, the less that seems to be true.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Can
And
I?
like a capital T truth, because we have all this
Mm.
information, we have all these facts, we have all these numbers we can look up, some kind of like total analysis that gives us, like you said, something that you can relate to as where is your place in some kind of
Mhm.
struggle. We all know that there's bad stuff going on. We all know that things aren't great for people. So how do we conceptualize this? Yeah.
But it feels very nebulous because basically contacting Alice in order to set up a socialist cooperative grocery store is not as sexy as going to the Capitol and storming it so you can take out all those pedophiles, right?
I think close is best.
Okay, can I guys at least
What if we
start
wear
because I've been
bikinis or
waiting for a
something?
while.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. Is that hygienic?
Yeah,
Probably.
so yeah, I think we all can acknowledge here that we all have subscribed to at least one conspiracy theory and then regret believing that as we get older and we get to know more. Like for me, I used to be very big into the business plot with Smedley Butler saying that capitalists are doing a fascist coup and before like FDR became
I'm sorry.
president.
I feel really
And
bad
two,
for
then I
Dan.
realized it was on the
I feel really
premise
bad
of
for
one
Dan.
man, Smedley
I
Butler,
like him,
and you need
but
way more evidence, just one
he
general
has a
for
really
that
hard
whole
time
entire plot. And that and to
uh,
that and
getting
that to the main point
his
of
ideas out
as
in a
counterpoints have been
concise way.
mentioning is that yeah, a lot of this always has been like feeling and purpose has been like the draw on too much people, including religion and just conspiracy theories, because then they offer you an answer that cannot be usually answered. Like, how does the universe work? What does your the afterlife? Then how does the government really work with the ultimate sense of the
Does the
purpose of
government
everyone
really
in
work? Well, let me
society?
tell you, it doesn't.
and and we can
It's a
acknowledge
piece of poop.
some can be good and some can be bad, and at least to the case of everyone here, having a conspiracy theory about QAnon is pretty bad and pretty harmful, and a lot of it's kind of harming society. And then compared to those who are Christians, or probably to the other case, is at least giving a purpose to their moral values and etc. I assume that a lot of people, including here, counterpoint specifically because he has a nationalist view on things. So I'm not I'm not trying to deny him
Yeah.
there.
Oops.
And a lot of it
That wasn't
has
very
been
good.
given to much of the feelings of everyone else, but to then we have to then see to the truth through our own way, through at least we could say critical thinking. So
Oh God, I thought the business plot was real until 45 seconds ago.
So how are these ideas? How are these ideas actually harmful though? If they're just ideas.
So you want me to tell you, CTV? Did you not see that this guy killed his kids because of this shit? That's pretty fucked up.
Or the Capitol riot.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, but
So
I mean,
if it wasn't this conspiracy, it could have been something else. It seems like that individual probably had more things going
true.
on.
That's true.
I don't think that's a. I
Right?
don't think that's a fair argument. Like you.
How is it not?
Like,
How is it not?
Okay, here,
because
wait.
where's the
wait.
9/11
I can
conspiracy
still man
theorist
everyone.
doing this?
I can still man
Where's
everyone.
the
I can still man
person?
everyone. Okay,
Go for it.
this is so good. We're talking about epidemiologically and like how this could be related to addiction, whatever. Okay, what if they have? We could call these people immunocompromised. They have shit going wrong in their life. They're likely to get some kind of ideological infection. However, this
If they just put their mask on, that'd be all right, right?
Yeah, that would help, right? Their mask, putting a mask on would be blocking Fox News, right? But so they're immunocompromised. They're likely to fall for some kind of conspiracy. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't also try to combat these individual infections that are rampaging, right? So QAnon is a particular infection. These people are immunocompromised. So you want to try to work on both fronts. How can we try to stamp out this particular infection while also trying to boost their immune systems?
Yeah, that's
and
a good way
I-
of putting it.
Science.
Based.
Yeah, the problem, I don't want to say the problem, but the challenge is that the way that you kind of stamp out these ideas or whatever is fuck yes. All right, Socrates, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Media literacy, knowing when you're being propagandized. One of the most important fucking things on the goddamn planet. Okay, literally. Okay, so talking about being radicalized by. It literally should be.
The government should go door to door and force people to learn this stuff. That's how important
Yes,
it is.
100%.
Wait.
Yes. So, so hold on, really quickly, because one of the things where I realized I was propagandized because I'm a fucking 10-head genius, right? So during the fucking mass immigration of like 2016, where like the Arab Spring happened, a bunch of governments collapsed, and a whole bunch of people from Middle East and North Africa were moving into Europe. I was propagandized by a bunch of right-wing people to think of this as like an intentional invasion, right? And they played fucking scary music, and they showed people smashing windows and all that kind of shit. And I was like, fuck. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, whatever we're going to do, I'm primed for it. And then I realized they hadn't presented me with a solution. They just presented me with a bunch of fucking problems. And not only had they only presented me with problems, but then on top of that, they just played scary fucking music. And then I literally watched the video again, and I was like, this is like misdemeanors. This is like vandalism. Like, what the fuck? Like, they're playing fucking Lord of the Rings Battle of Helm's Deep fucking music in the background. And it's a fucking dude smashing a glass window. So that's kind of real. That's where I realized, like, I'm being propagandized. I'm being bullshitted. I'm being manipulated. And so if you can give kids that knowledge where you're like, hey,
I break
if somebody's
stuff to
coming at you
Howard
with a
Shore
fucking
all the
idea
time.
and they don't have a lot of
He's the
facts,
best
but they do
composer
have a lot
ever.
of aesthetic and flair, that should be setting off your fucking spidey sense for whether or not this person is full of shit. That's a really important lesson that I did not learn until my mid-20s.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, there's another kind of thing that I've learned, that it's like if you talk to someone and you feel like your mind is kind of like going blank and getting fuzzy, and you can't really follow what they're saying, but you still feel kind of drawn into it. That's another just kind of internal thing that you can notice, that somebody is kind of like manipulating you. Like I've talked to a lot of religious people, and
I've been feeling all night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a normal day on Twitch politics. I'm confused.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Noise.
Gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss.
Based.
Be careful,
Yeah.
Prime's still smarting a little.
Yeah, I think like
Captain?
ultimately the prescription for something like this, I don't think can come from, unlike many things, something like this is not necessarily where I think the government is not should be, but is the best actor to be involved. I think like de-radicalizing people, first off, it starts early. Like I'll tell you what, I was a conspiracy theorist because I had issues growing up and with authority with my parents, and like it had to do with how I was raised and a whole fucking hell of a lot of factors that, you know what, had absolutely nothing to do with steel beams on 9/11. And that was just a tangent, that was just a side effect of all that. And so like it was really going right back to what Chud was saying. Like Chud, I think, nailed it. Like this, we can't deal with this in a way that in like the normal way of thinking about things. We have to deal with it on a systemic level. This has so much more to do with how people are raised than the information that's out there.
Yeah,
Because so many conspiracy theories are just on their face, very obvious to see that they're either like exaggerations or just blowing facts way out of fucking proportion, or any number
come
of
on,
those kind of things,
fucking
and
Jesus Christ, people just go
you end
on
up
and on and on and on and on.
tragedies like
And the scary music, and so there was I remember seeing this again, a Fox News clip. It was the caravan, and they were cutting between clips of people marching in like the caravan, whatever, through Mexico with like Al Qaeda fighters. They were cutting back and forth between those, between that and like ISIS, and it was like,
Yeah.
holy shit! And you know that like most of the people who are going to be watching that for the full segment aren't going to understand what's happening.
Well, and okay, so that's where I think that educating people on media literacy is probably like the most important thing, because not everybody's going to listen to you when you give them these tools, right?
Yeah.
But for the people who do, when you start seeing that like very quickly associative images are being bounced back and forth, when you hear specific images with all that kind of stuff, and when you start asking yourself the question, what does this person want me to believe, or what does this person
Looks like
want me to
CTV
buy,
is gonna be eaten on
and
stream.
how are they trying to sell it to me? Those are incredibly important questions. And unfortunately, because we live in like a uber capitalist society, I'm still a mixed economy capitalist. Sorry, I don't think marketing is completely evil. But like understanding marketing can rob some of that magic. It's kind of like it's kind of like seeing the special edition, like how the movie was created kind of thing, but for marketing and for brainwashing. And as scary as it might be for the government to give up its secrets on like propaganda and all that kind of stuff, I also think that would actually be like a really good faith gesture towards the populace to say like, hey, we don't want y'all falling for bullshit, so we're actually going to teach you how to smell bullshit. And I think that would be really cool. I think that'd be a step in the right direction as far as like truth telling.
Yeah, I
if
think
we did that with like the Iraq War, because there was so much behind selling that, not just between the government, but even like liberal rags like the New York Times, where they start asking it's just like questions like, oh, maybe what if there were WMDs? It's just, you see this kind of whole propaganda machine mobilized simultaneously across the country.
Yeah,
the trouble you've got is that I agree with your points, but the government and the media, it's not in their interest to increase media literacy. They in many ways rely on people's media literacy to push their messaging out, and that's obviously what manufacturing consent is all about. So yeah, I guess it's like, how do we do that? And I think it's difficult, right? Because you kind of have to rely on independent media to kind of push these messages out there, but then also that's a double-edged sword, because they could be fucking nutty too. They could be pushing fucking bullshit messaging. So it's
I really think
somebody thought they were pinning me down when they said, oh, local news sources are always the best. I don't trust the mainstream media. And I was like, oh, bullshit. Local news sources are sometimes the fucking worst.
Well,
like
I mean,
they hire the most obviously biased people, or they have some insanely biased content. Like they always got
wait. Like, to add to Jones, like, yeah, for sure, Sinclair owns like 60% of news stations across the United States, and they have a pristine interest to hold to a corporate standard in what they do for their news, and they have shown through it. And I think even John Oliver did a thing about it too, I think a couple years ago. So it's,
what's the most interesting thing about Sinclair Media, Dan?
What?
Okay. So probably about 2 years ago, or maybe it was like a year and a half ago, Sinclair Media released a fucking public statement that drove the right wing fucking insane, which was like, hey,
Your mic is messy.
yeah,
Yeah,
your
there's a
mic-
lot of
Media
fake
coming after him.
fucking
your
trust
mic-
us.
The CIA does
It's
want to stop
silencing you.
God,
Yeah, I'm very
why?
sorry that the
Why
CIA is.
CIA?
Yeah,
My
they
check. I took the money. I'm shilling for you. Jesus Christ, chill the
Try it
fuck
again.
out.
Try it again.
What about
Doug.
now?
Still harder.
your
Yeah.
Okay.
anti-war
Yeah,
stance
so-
is disappointing them.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying was Sinclair Media came out with this thing, and like all the alternative right wing media pundits were like, "This is how the government brainwashes you," because they literally had 300 news stations all reading the same statement about fake news. But Sinclair Media is not like a liberal or progressive or centrist organization; it's a fucking right wing media group. So it was literally the right wing calling the right wing bullshit. So
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Thanks for bringing it up.
you're welcome.
Okay.
Just
Does anyone have anything else?
Yeah, so I wanted to say one of the things that I think we can do to try to mitigate this issue is we really need to kind of put the focus back on critical thinking skills and trying to show people, starting with like friends and family, people you might know, all the people in Prime's chat. There's quite a few people in here. Be sure to follow and sub to Prime. But also, if you do have a family member that's like into these conspiracies and stuff like that, try to get them in a compassionate way and try to get them to kind of see the flaws as far as like, critical thinking and like, kind of see if you can gently poke holes into their narratives without causing conflict. Because like kind of all of us have said since the beginning, treating this issue with compassion and understanding and not like vitriol and confrontation, I think that can go a long way, especially coming from somebody like a family or a friend, is a lot better than, like Captain said, like government's not where you want this coming from. That's just going to exacerbate the issue. So I think that if we can come from that perspective and try to do it in a way that can be caring and understanding and trying to be, as friendly and open as possible, even if you can change one or two minds, I think it's definitely a benefit overall. And then maybe as we kind of chip away at this conspiracy stuff, people kind of open their eyes and get more critical thinking and be able to actually make proper decisions and understand things better in the future.
Yeah, and to back this up, cognitive dissonance is a motherfucker. So you might tell somebody to something that will like fuck their head, and they won't even realize that it fucks their head for like 5 years, 10 years. And they'll literally come back like 5 or 10 years later and they'll be like, bro, you said this one thing. It didn't click for me until literally yesterday, but I remember that conversation we had. And like, so even just throwing those perspectives out there, speech matters, communication matters, all that kind of shit. And then also somebody was bringing up like, do we want the government, or do we want to trust the government to communicate like media literacy to the population, considering they're the people who sometimes hit us with this information? No, not necessarily, but this is the power of YouTube. This is the power of alternative media, is that you can literally have, I've actually talked to this about Vadim, Creationist Cat or whatever. Like, we need to do a media literacy video that literally just tells millennials and Zoomers, this is how to smell bullshit. Because the truth is, there's nobody gatekeeping that shit. You can create that and share it.
Yeah,
So
I just want to say,
If
we
it's
should
coming
get,
out of a
like,
Democrat's mouth, it's probably bullshit. You can start there.
Shut up. Okay. Well, let's just get a PSA of many of the right-leaning people, like Counterpoints or other figures from the Twitch politics.
Oh, I don't know why
and get
CTV feel
alternate
like
from
he
the
just
right.
needs to
Just
attack
make a
everybody.
single PSA. It says, know when it's bullshit and no, it's not. Critical thinking by the Twitch politics community.
So I think, like, as a closing statement on this, like, I think places like the Calliopean Club, or like really any place streamer, it could just be an individual streamer. It could be a place like here, Prime Kai's. Like any place like this is going to be the best place to accept wacky, not, I want to be very clear, not hateful, uh because there's we've all seen those,
Oh, my neck.
racist, transphobic, whatever, not those people, but these, like, kind of out there views, we
Knocking
we
shit
need
over.
places to accept these people, to have it so that they don't feel like too ostracized. I mean, again, when I was a conspiracy theorist, I love to fucking argue. So being ostracized is more like I'm getting to argue with the people that I want to argue with. So it's like, I wouldn't be too worried about like going too hard on these people. Like, let them have their take and then debunk it. Usually it's really fucking easy. It doesn't take long.
So here's a question that I had for you, Captain, and this is just kind of a general just thing for the community, and this is something that I've thought about, which is that it feels like a lot of the time the way people get identified with an ideology or with some community or some kind of like conspiracy theory or anything, I feel like one thing that I try to be careful of when I talk to people or engage with people or even in my own head is instead of being like, that person, that's the flat earther or whatever, that's the QAnoner, conspiracy theorist, that's this person and they believe in this. And I wonder, like, Captain A. Jones, because you've actually kind of been through this process of like transforming your own thoughts. Was that something that you ever grappled with? Is like people kind of identifying you like as this thing rather than like first as a person and second as this? Was that ever relevant for you?
Nope. Like
Okay.
like I said, like any chance I got to argue and debate these things with people who were willing to debate and like didn't get like upset about it, because yeah, I guess there were a couple people,
That was
but
all helpful.
yeah, like honestly, like it was all first helpful and second, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed spreading my theories, and as fucking horrible as that is, because I spread some atrocious theories, but like I enjoyed the fucking back and forth of the argument and the debate. That was all fun as fuck. And then when I stopped being a conspiracy theorist, I went right to the opposite and I started arguing with the conspiracy theorists, like because I wanted that. That was something that it was part of like this weird community of like conspiracy and
Anti-conspiracy and
anti-conspiracy. Exactly.
We've had that on Calliopean Club as well. Like people who were kind of like they start out as like really extreme views or like conspiracy theorists or something. They end up actually like shifting over to the other side, as it
it's
were,
like
to
5 or 6 in the morning for
participating like, in a
Chud.
much more positive way. Yeah,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
used
It
to be
takes
a
time.
yeah.
Yeah, it
We
takes
have
time.
we have a
Yeah.
few like ex-fascists. We have a few like
It's
we have a lot of people who are
4:22
like
a.m.
active and they started out kind of in this
in the UK
and even in our server
Chud.
they started out as like really extreme views or conspiracy theorists and now you see them participating and they're participating and talking to people who are fascists, or they're talking they're talking through these views with people in a way that actually helps those other people actually self-challenge, which is kind of the important thing. Psychologically you're not gonna, however whatever information you get that contradicts your own views is just not gonna fucking work. You have to make the change yourself, with your own essentially, logic behind it, right? So it's gonna take you months or years to change your views, but hey, I mean, we just put it in front of you, right? What else can we do? Self-serve, kind of.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
was
All right, so I got the idea here for you. This is how we can solve this
Oh,
problem. Are you
Does
ready?
he get it?
Are you ready?
Does he get it?
I hope everyone is
17th
listening.
Amendment.
For everyone that is completely discouraged, right, by the fact that
Let's see if he
Hassan
does it.
has went and fucking bought him $1 million mansion.
Nobody
in
cares about that
Hollywood,
anymore. CTV,
right?
shut up.
What you need to be doing, right, is coming over and subscribing to CTV, because what I want to do is actually build RV parks around the country so that people will be able to park their RVs once they get them and be able to get to the places where there are the most jobs available, and make it affordable for people to be able to move around the country and chase down the opportunities that will be good for them, right?
Based.
So, like, if you really
don't think-
want some
Okay,
type of real change to
That doesn't
happen,
sound like
don't
a-
give me
Yeah,
your
yeah.
fucking money,
in the morning,
because that's
please.
exactly
Oh my
what's going to
gosh.
happen.
Can we
Yeah.
just wrap this up, please? Like,
Okay,
Jesus
so
Christ.
to my audience, what's happening next is that we will end this panel, but we're going to continue to our open walk-on panel afterwards. So we're going to still have more content. We don't need to go away. We still have more content for you right here. All right. We'll have an open panel where audience members like you sitting at home, you can participate. So stick around for that, and just chill out while we give these amazing individuals an outro. Before we do that, though, if you have just found this channel, enjoying this content in CTV, then give me a follow. Hit that follow button and make sure
Or
notifications are on,
CTV,
because we
I'm the whole
do
fucking
this
show.
because we do this 6 nights a week. 6 nights a week. We're always here for you. Always here for you. And always providing you content. So hit that follow button right this second. If you haven't done so before, hit that follow button. Also, exclamation point social in chat, exclamation point social in chat. And follow. Oh, I cannot type the word social apparently. Man. All right. So exclamation show in chat. Follow us on Twitter. Jump into our Discord, heart and soul of the community. We do everything in Discord. We're gonna have open panel. Open panel is gonna be in Discord. Discord. If you want to be a part of that, you'll have to be coming to the Discord. So join the Discord, and also YouTube. That's where you'll find the VODs for all this content. Right? You want to find that? You look at the VODs. So that'll be on YouTube. So subscribe, like, and comment. Help us make that a sustainable platform. Thank you so much. All right. We'll start by giving these people an outro. Remember, the show does not end afterwards. The stream is not over. We'll continue on. But I'll give an outro to these individuals, starting with Alice. Alice, thank you for coming through and for being back and be a supporter. Alice in general. I just I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm always glad to be here. It's always interesting. The Reverie, I think, is a lot more fun actually than Amazon Lily. So definitely thanks for having me on today. It's a different atmosphere, much very interesting. I stream sometimes. Twitch politics like this. Amazon Lily most of the time. And I'm gonna try to stream other shit because I get bored of Twitch politics. I'm on Calipian Club. Come join us. Come convince fascists that they're should stop being fascists. And as always, Prime, thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely. One, if you wanted to get the link to the Calliopian Club, I got it. I know it. Then put Eris in chat. Eris is the woman who invented that. I created that server. Put ERIS. I put it in chat for you already. Click on that server. You'll be able to find more of Alice there and a lot of amazing individuals. Really great conversations happening over in that server. Go check it out. It's actually quite unique what they're doing over there. So take a look. Alice, I gotta thank you, Alice. She is just so much fun. Like even when we are on the other side of the arguments, right? Like especially when we're on either side of the arguments, like it's always a fight. Like it doesn't matter. Even when I'm right, I'm usually right. But like it's it's an incredible fight. To prove that I am when dealing with Alice. She's actually pretty amazing. So once again, I'll put her link in chat. Everyone, go check her out. I don't think you can go wrong with Alice. Thanks so much, buddy. All right. Chud Logic. All right, Chud Logic. Goddamn. And see, this is why my view count's going up. Right here. Right? The sex appeal this man brings every single goddamn time. Chud Logic, I've always told you that I'm fucking in love with your voice. I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you of angry Chud, especially too, right? The moment you get aggravated, oh my god, it's beautiful. It's just there's
Brian,
nothing
better
like
be
it.
careful.
Nothing like it anywhere on Twitch. So everyone, if you're not following Chud, and you
Getting a
probably
little
are
too,
already, because Chud's like a mainstay here in Twitch politics.
too
If you're not
emotional.
doing that, you should absolutely make that happen.
A little
Chud,
too
please.
affectionate.
Okay, so I'm Chud Logic. Okay, you see a lot of takes out there, a lot of leftoid takes, a lot of synthetic left takes. Forget all that shit. If you want to get down to the brass tacks, the fucking all that shit, come to my stream, Chud Logic on Twitch. Okay, I stream 35, 40 hours a week. I'm a full-time streamer. Check out my schedule if you want to know when I'm live. And yeah, we don't just get into the fucking serious stuff. We have a lot of memes, a lot of creams. We cover a lot of drama. You can get my hot takes on the drama. Obviously we've had a busy week for drama, as we all know. So there's been a lot to get into. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some new controversy soon to get our teeth into. But yeah, come and check out my channel, and obviously check out everyone else on the panel too. And thanks very much for having me on, Prime. I appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure to speak to all of you.
No, thank you. I know it's 4:30 in your neck of the woods, and like you're putting out effort to stay up this late. And it's a pain in the ass for you, but I thank you for doing that for me and my community. Seriously, Chad, I've always appreciated you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Next, goddamn VIP. Yes, he is, and I think he's proven that to you now. He always does. Thank you, Connor Points. Thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for stopping by here once again and proving why you are one of the best goddamn panelists I am fortunate enough to have. Go ahead.
Thanks, man. I love being here. That's why I've shown up week after week after week after week. And the only reason why you don't have 5 hot tier 1 gift subs gifted on your channel right now is because payday is on Thursday and grocery shopping was Monday. So but next week I'll get you taken care of. So I just want to invite everybody who's watching. Basically, go ahead and follow Prime, subscribe to Prime. Obviously, this was like a big dramatic week. And I'm happy that it's finally resolved, and I'm hoping to be participating in the show for many years to come. And if you want me, where I can like basically boil down like 20 minutes of information into exactly 2 minutes and 59 seconds, according to Alice, then if you want to see any of that kind of stuff, then go type in !Connor in the Twitch chat, and then you should get a link to my stuff. Alternatively, you can go to YouTube, type in counterpoints common spelling. Alternatively, you can go to Twitter and type in _counterpoints_. And if you don't know how to spell counterpoints, then that's your fucking fault. So thanks for having me, buddy, and very happy to be here. Thank you.
Exclamation point Connor in chat. Yes, to get his link, his YouTube link. Check him out. He's doing great stuff over there, and he's an overall amazing person. We're lucky to have him in our community. Lucky that he spends time with us instead of his family. Okay, thank you so much. Nick, though, helped you out, though. He said, like, oh, you needed 5 subs for this week. Well, then he provided that. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Much appreciated. And then Nick has also paid me. He says, for $10, say Captain A. Jones looks like Eric Griffin. Captain A. Jones looks like Eric Griffin. I don't know who that is.
He does.
Is it?
He really does.
I don't know who that is. But in any case, I will do anything. Not anything for money. So yeah, you can
Not
pay me to say
anything
things
for
like
money.
that. Captain A. Jones, tier 3 sub, great for this community. Always being so kind as to I don't know, jump on open panels and be a part of what we're doing here. Is always much appreciated. Thank you for stopping by here. We gotta have you more on the Reverie in the future. So yeah.
Honestly, thank you so much. When I saw the other people
Excuse me.
in the lineup, I was like, why the fuck am I here? But like, honestly, thanks for having me. I really love these panels. One could even say I'm a little addicted to them. You can follow me at twitch.tv/Captain A. Jones. Same thing on Twitter. I have Brand Unity. Like I the kind of content and you know, I want to say this because when Chud said how many hours he streams every week, I was like, oh fuck, I stream like that many hours and I don't do this as a job at all. I really just enjoy streaming. I usually stream video games, but yeah, this last week, without saying too much, I didn't realize I was going to become a drama streamer, and be covering like news events, you could say, and be a reporter. But that was something, and I'm really just glad that I can be here to show support. So
Means so
thank
much.
you.
Absolutely. CTV. Thanks for coming through and just well, CTV. Thank you for being here. No.
Memeing and creaming.
Yeah, no, seriously, CTV. We always appreciate you stopping by, spending time here. We don't see you very often, but it's always an
That's
experience.
because I
every time
can't
you're
even
here.
get a fucking like on a tweet that I sent to you, asshole.
I'm never on fucking.
I just checked it. There's no fucking like from you. You look at the fucking link. Don't give me no shit.
I
You
am
can't even get a
never
fucking
on
like, and
Twitter.
you wonder why. Give me a
I'm not-
fucking break. And you know what? With that being said, the stream is over, right? Because I'm taking it with me.
Don't do
CTV
it.
out.
We got an over the panel after this.
He is a singular individual. Like there's literally nothing like him. So check out his channel. All right, he is gone. All right, bye. Next.
God damn it, my whole fucking.
I know, right? He fucked you that way. Let's go to Biggs. Biggs, thanks for
All
coming
big.
through and joining us and sharing your opinions on everything. Biggs, like it's always nice to have you around. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me tonight, Prime. I had a lot of fun. It was great hanging out with all these cool people. Everybody here, be sure to give a follow and a subscribe to Prime, Chud, to Alice, to Connor, Dan, to Socrates, to everybody here. Thank you guys for the great conversation. And you can find me at Biggs8500 on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And yeah, so have a great night, everybody, and thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely. Next, Dan. Dan, who my audience will be familiar with because he always hangs out on our open panels.
Yeah. Well,
Dan, thank you for coming through and joining us.
Well, I had a great time hanging out with everybody, talking about Hassan and many other QAnon stuff. I'm so happy for being invited here. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to able to have this discussion with you guys. If you want to see the work that I do, I work with a YouTuber historian goes by Cynical Historian. I work with him, and if you want to see what else I do, you could follow me on Twitter or show up to Prime open panels or too. I'm always there. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me here.
Put your link in chat, your Twitter link in chat, so they can find
Yeah,
you.
I did.
Okay, fantastic. Last but not least, we have Socrates TV. Socrates, thanks for being around. Thanks for joining in. Socrates is a mod here in this community. He's a helpful guy. He's a very smart guy. I think he's already proven that. He's a very intelligent individual. And like his perspective is always valuable to me. So I'm glad, like, and I literally always want him on, like as much as I can. He's busy. He's got other things on his plate. But when he does join in, it's always a pleasure. So thank you, Socrates.
Well, thank you, Prime, so much for having me. It's good to see you as always. Some old friends here, some new friends. I'm a cancer researcher by day. Put on my bat cape and do some Twitch rhetoric at night. I've actually been trying to do more afternoon streams, so I've got a couple shows I do regularly on Wednesdays from around 3 to 5 p.m. EST. I do a Hold My Bias, which is a debate analysis. So if you've been in a debate, have clips from a debate that you want analyzed, we can walk through it. Just come on in. We've had a bunch of people on. It's been a really good time. I also have a stream that I do with Universal Discourse on Tuesday nights, where we LARP as different philosophers and discuss topics. We've done time. We've done what is good. We've had
Thanks everybody
had
for
a lot
hanging
of
out.
illustrious people on, such as
By the way, it's been a fun stream.
Heidegger, some Eastern philosophers. It's pretty exciting. So yeah, good to be here. Come on by.
Glad that I did it.
You've also
It
had
was
Joe,
actually a
the
pretty
serious one.
interesting panel. So
yeah, I mean,
pretty happy with
the
that.
best of those philosophers, I would imagine, right? No, right? And you're not laughing awkwardly. That's
No. Yeah. We've had
There we go.
had some good.
Now you should affirm it.
Yeah,
You should really
all the
affirm
best
it.
people. Yes.
excellent for Joe in chat if you want to find her links, right? So okay. So like I said, we are going to continue to open welcome panel right after this. And where we're going to, before we do that, we'll have a very important channel update. So stick around for that. All right. But thank you to all of you who joined in, especially after all this. Appreciate the show of support you guys came through. It means actually a lot. All right. So
it's a pleasure.
What did you say?
It's a pleasure, no problem.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. Everyone, yes, you can join us for the open walk-on panel, but if not, that's okay. They can spend your time, your energy, your knowledge, and your passion for my community. I know they appreciate you so much as I do. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Catch ya.
Well,
Well, that was fun.
that was fun. That
Oh.
was
I'm so sorry. That was so fun, y'all. I'm like chatting